anthem. Oh, sing and you see by the dawn's early light was a proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched. Words of gallantry streaming, and the rocket's red bell of first beginning came through the night. That flag was still there. Oh, say the dead star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the whole power
There you have the playing of our national anthem and the bellow of Let's Go Oilmen. Well, the stage is set. It's Ostrowski against Avery. It's the Oilmen against the Generals. And it's next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Final few warm-up tosses being fired by Jake Ostrowski, and we're set for baseball here at Oil City Stadium. The umpires are all set to work today's game. Luigi Guerrero is calling the balls and strikes, and Mike Clay will make the decisions on the base paths. 3 ceremonial first pitches were tossed out, including Donnie Brown, the vice president of BP Whiting. We will talk with him a bit later on in the broadcast as he'll join me in the top of the 3rd inning. So ball game all set to get underway, just waiting for Luigi Guerrero to take his position behind home plate, and then we'll have baseball as the umpire makes his way to his spot, and we're ready for baseball. It is Diego Munoz to lead it off against Jake Ostrowski. It is another just excellent night for a ball game here in Northwest Indiana. The first pitch comes tonight at 7:12, and the game time temperature is 88 degrees. It's high for ball one. We're underway, 1 ball and no strikes. 88 degrees and sunny at game time, and the count is 1-0. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. This is taken low and outside for a ball, and Ostrowski falls behind Munoz to get things going. 2 balls and no strikes.
It was a lot of base runners for Joliet yesterday, including Diego Munoz, who had 3 hits, 2 walks, and scored 5 times in a single baseball game.
Yeah, we have a lot to dissect as we break down yesterday's Generals game. We'll get to all that a bit later on. This is high and outside for a ball, and it's 3 balls and no strikes on Munoz. So falling behind right away is Ostrowski, 3-0. He will deliver a 4-pitch walk to get it going. So it's a leadoff base runner here for Joliet. Munoz is on, and the Generals right away will have an opportunity here as they get the leadoff man on via a 4-pitch walk.
Yeah, and the Generals' middle of their lineup, and their top 4 to 5 batters have done a lot of work. Yesterday they had 3 guys with 3 hits, their first 3 batters, and in the cleanup spot, Fisher had 4. And combined, they had 14 RBIs, so it was a big day for the middle of the lineup, and that's the way it's been the entire season.
This is taken high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes on Jake Muha, hitting .286. He stands in the second spot in the order, the left-handed batter, waiting Ostrowski's 1-0 pitch. As here's the set and the 1-0. It's taken for a strike. The first strike of the day delivered by Ostrowski, and the count evens out at 1-1.
We've also seen in recent games the Generals have been really aggressive on the base pass, and that certainly helps you score runs when you're stealing bases at a high clip like they have.
1 ball and 1 strike on Muha. Here's the 1-1. It's taken for strike 2 called, and Ostrowski's ahead 1-2. Let's give you some information about Ostrowski. He sits at 2-1 with a .651. He's worked 19 1/3 innings with 20 strikeouts and 9 walks. This is his 6th game and 5th start of the season. He last pitched on July the 8th against the Southland Vikings. He allowed 4 runs, 3 earned in 3 innings that night, yielding 4 hits and 3 walks while striking out 4. This is lifted in the air and near the foul line. Able to haul this in is Hedrick, and that's the first out of the first inning. So a fly ball to left off the bat of Muha produces the first out, and now Gould will stand in with 1 away and 1 on.
Yeah, that's an important play for the Oilmen to make early on in this one. They had 6 errors yesterday against the Corn Dogs, which might have costed them the game, including one late in the game. And if you can eliminate a lot of those errors, that limits the chances for the offensive team to score runs.
Michael Gould standing in, 6 errors, as you heard Adam mention. And the other Adam Enright, was none too pleased. Here's a strike called and the count 0-1. He said after, you just simply cannot win when you make 6 errors. And he said if they eliminated just some of those errors last night, they'd probably win the game. But a team as good as the Corn Dogs are offensively, it's hard enough when you give them 3 outs, let alone 4 or 5 in any given inning last night. Here's the 0-1. This is taken for strike 2 called, and now it's 0-2.
And Gould is not a guy who looks at a lot of pitches. He loves to swing the bat, especially when it's there. Now he's falling behind 0-2.
Here's the set from Ostrowski in the 0-2 swing and a miss. He went after a high, hard one, and that's the second out of the first inning.
And that's exactly where you can attack some of this Generals lineup. But the key is you have to get up early in the count. If you down 2-0 and 3-0, you're not going to get a batter to chase most likely with that high fastball. But that time he was ahead 0-2 and got Gould to chase.
Now it's Brennan Fisher stepping in, a .314 average on the season. But we'll hope the Oilmen can, from an Oilman standpoint, put together all 3 facets of the game. Last night they hit much better than they did the night before, but defensively was where the woes came. Here's the first pitch strike, and attacking the zone is Ostrowski. He's ahead of Fisher 0-1.
And we shall see how the Generals pitching fares in the bottom of this inning, because they really did struggle yesterday.
Here's a pickoff throw to first, you had to say the very least.
Yeah, not with walks, although they did have 7 walks, but there were a lot of batters that they faced, but it was more balls, catching way too much of the plate, and no one was letting any of those pitches go by him yesterday.
0-1 on Fisher here. Here comes the pitch on the way, taken low for a ball. The count evens out at 1 ball and 1 strike. For the Oilmen, it wasn't the pitching that was really the problem, although they gave up 11 runs. 7 of the 11 were unearned last night. So not only did they make 6 errors, but they were leading directly to runs. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count on Fisher. Here comes Ostrowski's pitch, swinging a smash foul left side, and the count tilts in favor of the pitcher at 1-2.
Yeah, and usually if you say, a team makes 6 errors and the other team only makes 1, you'd think the score is a lot more lopsided, but they just lost by a few runs, and you take away those couple insurance runs that the Oilmen had in the top of the 9th, and we could be looking at that game going into extra innings possibly.
Yeah, no doubt. They kind of took the wind out of the Oilmen sails. They had got to within 1 run with a big inning in the bottom of the 8th, but then a ball dropped in left, allowed the Corn Dogs to tack on 2 more in the top of the 9th. There's a bouncing ball toward third. This gets past Zebig and into left. This is an error on the Oilman third baseman. Here comes the throw to third, and it's not in time. This was a fieldable ball, and it got by Zebig as Fisher reaches safely, and Munoz goes first to third.
And if you're Zebig there, you got to know your batter, and obviously, if you have a speedy runner, you might try to go for more of a backhand stop, but he had plenty of time to get his body in front of that ball and still get Fisher. He's not one of the faster guys on this General team. You just got to find a way to knock the ball down and throw a strong throw across the diamond, and you probably get the out.
The Oilmen have had trouble, not just one player, but multiple different guys at third base here of late, and that's been the real issue, one of the real issues defensively. Here's a ground ball, another chance. This time it's foul, and toward third, the count 0-1 on Bryce Vincent.
Yeah, not only does the inning extend, but for Jake Ostrowski, he's throwing more pitches. And tonight he's also hitting, so you're relying on him a lot. And when you give him extra at-bats that he has to face, it becomes even more difficult.
No balls and a strike on Vincent. Here comes the pitch from Ostrowski. Swing and a miss. Vincent was late on that one. And now Ostrowski trying to work out of this as he has himself ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
And I would believe Ostrowski would just keep going away. And Generals really do love it on the inner half of the plate.
Here comes the 0-2. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul. Over to take a look, Zarnecki, and this one gets out of play. It remains no balls and 2 strikes on Vincent.
That pitch was set up to go outside, and that one caught a lot of the plate. And that's where it becomes dangerous because the Generals don't take a lot of pitches. If they get a mistake, they're usually not going to miss it.
0-2 on Vincent. Here's the 2-strike pitch. This is taken high for a ball. 1-2.
After the walk to Munoz, Ostrowski's really settled in. He's gone to 2 strikes on Fisher, 2 strikes on Gould, and now 2 strikes on Vincent.
And he's set for a 1-2 pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul off to the right and out of play. Remains 1-2 on the always dangerous Bryce Vincent, who's hitting .341.
That's exactly where he wants the pitch that time, outside, and make him try to hit something into right field for a base 6. It limits a lot of your power and makes it way harder to time and get in play if you throw it outside.
Here's the 1-2. This is swinging a bouncing ball toward first. Fielding it, Zarnecki. He kicks the cushion and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, and 2 left for the Generals in the first. After a half, it's Joliet nothing, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Again, tonight it is Police and Fire Appreciation Night here at Oil City Stadium. Many members from local police departments and fire departments have filed through the turnstiles here at Oil City Stadium tonight. They're taking in a ball game as the Oilmen take on the Joliet Generals. Good crowd on hand, and a pleasant night for it. And again, I keep praising each and every night the weather, but you just can't take this for granted. We've had beautiful nights throughout the season. Another good night for a big event tonight, and a bit later on I'll chat with Donnie Brown, the Vice President of Refining at the BP Whiting Refinery, and Mike Andrade is going to stop by once again. He was with me for an inning on the Veterans Benefit, the Military Appreciation Night, and that came earlier this season. He's a state representative from Indiana District 12. So Mike Andrade is going to join me in the fourth. Donnie Brown will be with me coming up in inning number 3. But right now, Adam Oppenheim is with me as we look to the bottom of the first inning. A nice pitching by Ostrowski to work around a 2-out error and make sure nothing was across for Joliet in the top of this inning.
Absolutely, and you have a couple things that you don't like to see, which is a leadoff walk that was on 4 pitches and an error, but you find a way to get out of it without giving up any runs, and that gives you confidence that you went through a lot of the meat of the Generals lineup so far, and hopefully you won't have to see him again in the top of the second.
So we take it to the last of inning number 1 here as Chris Baker gets set to stand in for the first time today. There's no question this game is a huge one in the Northern League standings. Don't look now, but the Generals have surged, and they have won 4 consecutive games. Here's a swing and a foul back to the screen, and they're on the precipice of surpassing the Oilmen for 3rd place in the league standings.
Yeah, and a big game at Oil City Friday night. An opportunity to have 5 straight road victories against one other team in the Northern League, which is the Oilmen.
Here's the 0-1, taken for a strike call, and the count is 0-2.
Beat the Giants last Saturday, beat the Corn Dogs Tuesday, Vikings Wednesday, Panthers yesterday, and a chance to beat the Oilmen tonight.
Just parading through the league. Here's a swing and a miss by Baker, and he's out on strikes. Baker strikes out swinging for the first out against Cooper Avery, who spent this past season at Valparaiso University, a Naperville, Illinois native, a Neuqua Valley High School product of 2020, and a Northern League West All-Star this season. He owns a 3-1 record, a .637 earned run average, 29 2/3 innings of work, 11 walks, and that was his 28th strikeout a moment ago. Here's the pitch swung on and missed, the count 0-1. This is his 8th game, all of them coming into starting role for manager Joe Silva and pitching coach Adam O'Malley.
And he was about at a 5.5 ERA before a game against the Giants, which he gave up 6 earned runs. But he pitched pretty well for the most part. It was just one inning that he allowed 5 runs.
Pitch low here. Yeah, he 7 runs, 6 earned, 9 hits. He walked only 1 and struck out 3 in those 5 innings of work against the Giants. Here's the 1-1. Swing ground ball to the left side. This is Munoz. The shortstop collects it. He throws to first low, and it's going to be not in time. Safe at first on an error is Hedrick, as Munoz throwing miscue allows Hedrick to reach safely. The Oilmen get a 1-out base runner here in the first.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a ton of errors from the Generals in the outfield, but for the infield, we've seen quite a few, especially at the left side. And for Munoz, he's had quite a few errors. That's his 11th of the year.
Yeah, good throw gets him there, but low throw and unable to dig it out was Fisher. It goes as E6. Here's the first pitch taken outside for a ball by Marshall. The count 1-0.
And it seemed like Munoz kind of short-armed that throw to Fisher, and you're relying on your first baseman to do a lot to pick that ball. That was a tough one.
Here comes the 1-0 to Marshall, taken for a strike, and the count evens out at a ball and a strike. What stood out to you about watching Cooper Avery pitch this summer?
Well, it's that when I first talked to him, he said he doesn't throw a lot of fastballs, and I found that very interesting. Mixes in a curveball, a changeup, a cutter, all stuff that he throws a high percentage, and not a ton of fastballs.
Here's a pickoff throw to first, not in time.
But it is interesting. He says he really likes his cutter. It's because, a lot of hitters don't see that, so it's important for him to use it if he has it.
Here's the 1-1, swinging a ground ball to the left side. Munoz can't make this play as this skips past him and into shallow left. Another play that was not made by the defense here. Back-to-back errors on Munoz, the shortstop, and the Oilmen have runners at first and second with only 1 away here in the first.
Yeah, and we've seen some games where the Generals have had 3-4 errors, but not like this on back-to-back plays. And these weren't ones that took funky hops. These are straightforward grounders that you got to be able to make, as Avery's going to have to face a lot more people. Instead, he could have been out of this inning. Instead, it's first and second with 1 out.
Let's see if the Oilmen can take advantage. Capitalizing on opposing teams' mistakes is the key. Here's a ground ball to the right side. This is backhanded by Fisher. He'll throw to first wildly. Safe at first is Zebig. Now coming in to try to score is Hedrick. He will. Around third, Marshall. He'll hold there. So it was a play where Zebig reaches first safely, and then the throw gets away, and Hedrick ends up coming in to score on the throwing error, the 3rd general error of the inning. And
you can understand the error on the throw, but in my opinion, the error was on the decision. They had an easy out at second, and he decides to make a 180 spin and throw to first across his body. Not sure I get that decision. I was wondering if maybe he saw Marshall right in a second and didn't want to throw at him or try to go around him, but when you're ranging to your right as a first baseman, the easier throw is to second because your body is already facing that way.
Here's Kyle Zarnecki. He takes low for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on Kyle.
And that's really not a way to help your pitcher out either, with 3 errors in with 1 out in the inning.
Here's a pickoff throw to first. And count remains 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the runner going pitch, low and in, and stealing second base uncontested with no throw is Zebig. Zebig swipes second. Marshall remains at third as the Generals elect not to throw down, as the pitch was low to Zarnecki for a ball.
Yeah, and these are about as unearned as runs can come. It's not just a walk and someone was made an error. It's just been errors all over the place that have moved every single runner up.
Here comes the 1-0, taken for a strike call. Actually, 2-1 now. Two balls and a strike is the count on Zarnecki. The runners take their leads from second and third. Infield back for Joliet. The middle infield at least would concede a run on a ground ball. 2-1. Here's a high bouncer. It's on the middle infield. It'll score a run. It's fielded by Munoz. His throw to first is in time, and there is the second out of the inning. Gives Zarnecki his 22nd RBI of the year as Marshall comes in and scores. Zebig to third safely, and now there's 2 down, and that'll bring up Conniff.
An important out for Avery to get, but they'd be lucky to only give up 2 runs in this inning after 3 errors that were routine.
Conniff standing in with Zebig at third. Both runs are unearned. The Oilmen trying to add on further. They have taken a 2-1 lead by scoring twice in the bottom of this first inning, and it's been wobbly defense on both sides. There was they've taken, I should say, a 2-0 lead as the Generals did not score in the first, and now the Oilmen have scored twice. They're in the bottom of the frame. Here's a strike call, and the count 0-2.
In fact, that was actually the first error on Brennan Fisher all year. 116 putouts, 2 assists, 0 errors coming into this, and that was his first today.
Here comes the 2-strike pitch. It's taken high for a ball. Thinking this was strike 3 was Avery. Adam, he was a few steps back toward the dugout, but it's high for ball 1.
Yeah, I guess that pitch missed the zone, but it hasn't exactly gone the Generals' way, but a lot of it due to the errors. But Avery just hoping to get out of this inning and regroup and let his ball club hit again.
Here's the 1-2 taken for strike 3 called, and the inning comes to an end. But a bizarre inning in which the Generals commit 3 errors, leading to 2 unearned runs for the Oilmen in that frame. They leave 1. After 1, it's the Oilmen 2 and Joliet nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back here for the second inning as the Oilmen hold the 2-0 lead over Joliet. 3 errors committed by the Generals in the first inning, and some of the bad mojo of the Oilmen defense rubbing off on Joliet in that opening frame.
Yeah, and plays that they usually do make. They're not a great defensive team, but pretty solid all around. And especially when some of your best fielders in Munoz and Fisher are making errors, you're most likely going to give up runs, especially when you have 3 of them in one inning. It's pretty much impossible to avoid giving up a run.
It'll be Biggers, Caraway, and Dupuis batting here in this second inning after the Oilmen scored twice in the opening inning. Again, a pair of unearned runs. It'll be Biggers, Caraway, and Dupuis, as I mentioned, 6, 7, and 8 in the Joliet batting order.
And the Generals' batting order is very interesting today. They're playing, the bottom half of the lineup is really solid for them, and Biggers, who's been really good, Caraway, who has power, Dupuis, who's near a 380 hitter.
Biggers hitting 329, and he takes low and outside from Ostrowski for ball 1. Zebig did get an infield single in the last inning, but then an error allowed the run to come in and score. Here comes the 1-0, swinging a foul back to the screen. The Generals actually made 2 mistakes on that play. First, they had maybe the decision to try to go toward first. There was nobody covering. It was a late cover. I think even a good throw, he ends up being safe at first base. And then the wild throw compounds the damage and allows a run to come in and score. And that continued a wobbly defensive inning for Joliet. Here's the 1-1. High and outside for a ball, 2-1.
And we talked about Cooper Avery getting off the mound a little late, and that kind of probably showed where his head was, thinking Fisher was certainly going to second, and he didn't even need to cover the bag, and that's why he was late on the cover.
Yeah, the 2-1, swinging a line drive. It's going to be caught by the second baseman, Tyler. He lays out for it and makes the catch. So out is Biggers for the first out of the inning as Tyler head first toward the second base bag is able to corral that one for out number 1.
And the past few games, Biggers has been hitting a lot of balls hard, and Tyler just made a great play on it. The important first out. Seemed like every time the leadoff runner was aboard for either the Panthers or the Generals yesterday, it would end up in, a 5+ run inning.
Here's the first pitch to Caraway. It's taken for a strike, and it's 0-1. Yeah, we want to talk more about yesterday's game, if you can call it a game, more like home run derby. This is high for a ball, or batting practice session. 1 ball and 1 strike on Caraway. Was it Anthony Stellato that said after the game, told you, craziest game he's ever played? I can't blame him. Here comes the 1-1, swinging a foul, and the count is 1-2. In case you're just joining us, it was Joliet 23, Crestwood 20 yesterday, and Adam, you had the pleasure of witnessing all 43 runs that crossed the plate.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of scoring, but the good thing was it was a lot of good hitting and not a ton of walks.
1-2. Here's a little bouncer to the left side. Zebig races in. He fields this one aggressively and throws to first just in time to nip Caraway at first base for out number 2.
And yesterday it wasn't a ton of bad fielding either. Just a lot of pitches in the middle of the plate, and it seemed like every ball just had a little bit extra on it. We saw 2 home runs, a variety of extra base hits. Pretty much every out even was hard hit that wasn't a strikeout. Not a ton of swing and misses at all, and hard contact all around.
Yeah, a few of the oddities here of this game that I want to mention is Dupuis takes a strike. First of all, the fact that Joliet scored 9 runs in the top of the 5th inning to, I believe, take a 16-3 lead in the game. And then in the bottom of the 5th inning, the Panthers roar back with 14 runs. This is outside for a ball, 1-1, to go up 17-16, and what a 5th inning it was.
Yeah, and a go-ahead grand slam for Crestwood, capped off a 14-run inning. I don't think it gets much more exciting than that. It looked like Crestwood was dead in the water as the Generals were just taking everything, but they ended up with a triple, a couple extra base hits. They got a inside the park home run. That was really a triple in the air, and a couple home runs.
The 2-1 is ball 3. 3 balls and a strike now on Dupuis.
And it just seemed like hitters weren't taking pitches at all. So it'd be interesting to see how the Generals adjust, because you can't really just swing at everything. That doesn't work a lot of the time.
Here comes the 3-1. It's outside for ball 4. A 2-out walk issued by Ostrowski. Second walk he's issued today, and Tom Stote will come up next. The other oddity, I thought, Crestwood scored a franchise record 20 runs in a game. They've been in the league since 2017, so going back to that time. Now, they actually had a ball club called the Crestwood Panthers for years and years, going back to, decades. So we don't have all the records for all those years of Crestwood Panthers baseball. But since they joined this league in 2017, that is a franchise record. Here's a pitch taken for a strike to score 20 runs in one game. And that was 5 years ago that they joined the league. However, they lost the game despite scoring a franchise record 20 runs. Hard to imagine. They also gave up a franchise record 23 runs. 0-1 on Stote. Ostrowski comes back. Swing and a miss. And the count 0-2.
And Joliet scored a franchise record 23 runs, and they've never actually been over 20 runs. But they've actually given up. I believe it was 24 runs in a game against the DuPage County Hounds a few years ago.
It was opening day of the season. It was 24-1. What a way to start a season. It was under Oilmen assistant coach Matt Vituli, I believe, as the manager of the Generals at that time. Or it might have been even Joe Hernandez. I think it was Matt Vituli, though. Here comes the 0-2. This is a swing and a foul out of play right side. The count remains 0-2.
And there was a lot of mixed emotions when I was talking to the Generals players after the game. A lot of them were like, that was just crazy. It was a long 7-8 game that nearly went 3 hours and 20 minutes. A lot of them were like, I just wanted to go back to bat again. Some are like, I just want this game to be over. Some the greatest time of their life, like Stellato mentioned. But he also had the bases clearing go-ahead double.
Here's the 0-2. Look out. This is inside. This gets a piece of Stote, and he's aboard here. Back-to-back free passes to the 8 and 9 hitters in the order. You never want to do that. Now the top of the order comes up with men on base.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, when you combine for 43 runs, there's a lot of runners in scoring position. And an opportunity for Joliet to get back into this game and give Avery a little bit of run support after not having his back for the bottom of the first inning.
2 outs, and the runners taking their leads at first and second. Munoz stands in. First pitch from Ostrowski is a strike. The count 0-1. Ostrowski, a 2018 product of Lockport Township High School, attends Trinity Christian College, where he pitches for Adam Enright, and a native of Lockport, Illinois. Fastball, slider, and a change. His velocity tops out in the high 80s. Here's the 0-1. This is taken inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. But yeah, that's the other crazy thing that you mentioned. It was only 7 innings. They still, for a full 9, could have scored more and more runs if they had had more daylight left to finish the 9 innings in that ball game. Here's the 1-1 to Munoz. This is taken low and outside. He checked his swing but held up, and it's 2-1.
And the crazy thing about it is Crestwood had the tying run up the plate, second and third, and a full count pitch called on the inside corner, strike 3. And then it was a pop-up to end the game, and it was right in the middle of that Crestwood lineup. In fact, the strikeout was on Jimmy Gargoni, who I believe currently leads the Northern League in average. So that was a big out for Joliet to get.
Here's the 2-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul off to the right and out of play. And now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 23-20. Andrew Mild and I were broadcasting, and Leo and David were with us as well, and we were having quite a few discussions about that, both on and off the air last night, as that all transpired. First of all, the 5th inning really captured my attention.
Yeah, you might have thought it was over, thinking mercy rule, and then you're like, wait, this is actually a game 16-3, and it's possible to come back with just 3 outs to play with.
Yeah. Can you imagine had that been the bottom of the 9th, 16-3, and then you win 17-16? This is swung on and lifted in the air. Baker goes back on it. He's underneath it, and Baker makes the catch, and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, and 2 left on base for Joliet in the second. After an inning and a half, it remains Oilmen 2, Joliet nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Bottom of the second inning on a pleasant summer night in Whiting, Indiana. Police and Fire Appreciation Night, 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. They capitalized on 3 Joliet errors in the first inning as they were gifted the 2 runs. And meanwhile, in each inning, Joliet has stranded 2 as they've had their own opportunities without the benefit of a hit, but they haven't been able to come through in those spots.
And in reality, when you're throwing the ball around and there's errors, opportunities for runners to advance, and that's what happened with the Oilmen last inning. And then you just hit a ball on the ground and you're able to attack another run across, which is what Northwest Indiana Oilmen did.
It's Tom Curcio leading off for the Oilmen here in the second inning. 7, 8, and 9 for NWI due in this frame. Curcio trying to find a way to reach to get things going. He had a multi-hit game last night. He hit the ball hard throughout the evening, really in each plate appearance. He also has walked frequently this season, so even though his batting average is a little low, he's been on base quite a bit. He takes ball 1 here, 1 ball, and no strikes.
This will be big for the Generals defense to rebound a bit, make some of those routine plays for outs.
1-0 is called a strike, and the count evens at a ball and a strike on Curcio.
Like you mentioned with the Oilmen 6 errors yesterday, sometimes it spreads, and Generals have had 3, and they want to stop.
This is outside for ball 2, 2 balls and a strike on Curcio. Avery coming back. Here's his 2-1 pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the left, out of play. It goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And especially if you're the defense, you want your pitcher to be able to trust what's behind you and not try to go for those power strikeout pitches and be able to play to contact confidently.
Here's the 2-2. Swinging a ground ball to the right side, fielded by Dupuis. The second baseman gloves it. He throws to first in time, and Curcio is out number 1 here in the second.
That's probably the perfect start the Generals would want. A ball on the infield that they have to field cleanly and throw over to first. Obviously a shorter throw by Dupuis, but it still helps to get that first out.
Kyle Tyler will stand in next, hitting .357 out of the 8 spot in the order today for Adam Enright. First pitch to him is called a strike, and it's 0-1. Again, the Oilmen trying to bounce back from an 11-8 loss to Lake County yesterday. But the encouraging sign yesterday was the offense took a step forward. Here's the 0-1 swing. He may have broken his bat. Here's a ground ball towards second, fielded by Dupuis. Back-to-back 4-3 putouts begin the second inning. Now 2 gone, nobody on. It'll be the pitcher, Jake Ostrowski, who does have a walk-off hit to his name this season.
And Cooper Avery's really worked in a lot of his breaking pitches there, and that's why you've seen some weak contact and some easy outs for Joliet. That time that one got in on the hands of Tyler.
Here's the first pitch to him, taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. But I was touching on before that play, 8 runs on 11 hits was a huge improvement from no runs on 4 hits against the Giants the night before last. Here's strike 2 called. So to see the offense take a step in the right direction was good, and ultimately the difference was that they had the better lineup out there last night. The 0-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Ostrowski is out on strikes, and the inning ends. 1-2-3 go the Oilmen in the second. It's the Oilmen 2 and the Generals nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College. Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Welcome back here as we head to inning number 3. It's the Oilmen 2 and the Joliet Generals nothing on Police and Fire Appreciation Night here at Oil City Stadium. We're glad to be joined by a special guest in the booth, and the event tonight is sponsored by our friends at BP Whiting, and we're glad to be joined by Vice President Donnie Brown. Donnie, thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you at Oil City Stadium tonight.
Thanks for having me. It is a wonderful, it's beautiful night. My goodness, couldn't be any more perfect.
We've been so fortunate this summer with very good summer weather, and it's led to a lot of nice nights at the ballpark.
Oh, yeah, this is nice.
Let's talk about the Police and Fire Appreciation Night as the final warm-up tosses are completed here before the third inning commences. And Ostrowski will go after the Joliet Generals in this inning. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the order. Let's talk about this event. How meaningful is it to you and BP to be a part of a night that's all about appreciating police and fire men and women in Northwest Indiana?
Well, I got to say, one, we have an outstanding fire team and security team at BP that works around the clock 24/7. And I got to give them a shout out because whenever things get a little bit off for us, they respond and they do a fantastic job. They also help out mutual aid in the community. But it is always good to recognize our police and firefighters, right? They take care of keeping us safe, and safety is a priority for us at BP. And so coming into this community, knowing that we have, trusted men and women who get out after it and keep things safe for us, coming in the community and for the people of the community, it just makes it good to be here. We've been here for a long time, and we're looking to stay.
1 ball, 1 strike here on Muha, the batter for Joliet. And it's a chance to recognize a group that it's so important to take time to recognize as police and fire personnel across Northwest Indiana, swing and a miss 1 and 2, and really across the country are so important to all of our communities. And it's just so nice to have an event where you can recognize those individuals.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is wonderful, and I do think people who put themselves, second to take care of others, they should be recognized.
Here's a ground ball towards short. Throw to first is in time. 6-3 the putout goes. Muha is the first out of the inning. And how fitting, BP, a longtime partner of Northwest Indiana Oilmen baseball. It's a fitting relationship given the beautiful oil refinery backdrop that's unique to this ballpark.
Yeah, we're quite proud of it. And, being able to sit at the ball game and keep an eye on things is always fun as well.
1 out here, and that'll bring up Michael Gould to face Jake Ostrowski. 2-0 Oilmen. We're in the third inning. This is high for a ball on the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Are you a baseball fan at all? And who's maybe your favorite team or your favorite ballpark to go to watch a baseball game?
So I'm from the South originally, but I was told I needed to choose here in the Midwest, and I have not made the choice. I'm keeping my options open, but I enjoy going to baseball games, mainly because of the atmosphere, right? You get to see good sports and then good social event, right? So I tend to go to a few games a year, but like I said, I'm from the South. If that tips you off any, but looking to get to a Sox game, or I'll just come here. I mean, this is nice.
Sure.
This is easy. I can just walk over from work.
Right by work. And 1 out runner on here is Gould. A ground ball single up the middle, and that'll bring up Brennan Fisher against Ostrowski. Here's Ostrowski, who's set, and the pitch swung on and lifted foul off to the left out of play. And the opportunity to be a part of Oilman baseball gives you an opportunity to be visible in the community. How important is it to you to be out and be part of the Whiting community?
Well, I have to say, that refinery started up in 1889, so it's been here for a long time. And the community and the people in that refinery, they grew up together. And it is good for us to be able to participate, interact. The people that work there live in the community. I get to hang out with them, right, which is fun. But no, it is, this place takes care of us, and so we want to show our appreciation.
1 ball, 1 strike on Brennan Fisher. Runner on first with 1 out. We're in the third. It's a beautiful night for a ball game at Oil City Stadium, and I always talk about that unmistakable oil refinery backdrop. The only park in the country with such a backdrop. Here's a ball lifted foul off to the left out of play, and it's fitting to what represents this region and this area to have the oil refinery backdrop here for this ballpark. 1-2 the count, one out in the inning. What else do we need to know about BP? What else, given this opportunity to be on the air here with me, what else do we need to know about BP?
Well, like I said, we love being here in Northwest Indiana. Been here for a long time, and we're looking to extend our life here in the future, right? And we have a nice strategy looking forward, cleaner energy, looking to partner with the community and in the state. I think this is going to be good for all of us, right? For our business, for the people that live here in Northwest Indiana, as we clean things and provide different types of clean energy and continue to do what we do here at the refinery as well. We want to be here for another 130 some odd years.
Sure. Yeah. So when you talk about cleaner energy, for someone listening, kind of what do you mean by that, and how do you? Here comes the pitch on the way, taken low and outside. Tell us about what you mean by the steps you're going to take in that area.
Well, we have a company strategy that one looks at, when I say cleaner energy, it's low carbon energy, right? It's things like wind, solar. There's some low carbon energy that's hydrogen. And so we're looking at that within the state. We already have some of that in this state, which is great. And then what do we do with the refinery, which is resilient? It's the traditional hydrocarbon, but as we produce it in a cleaner way, that's all around cleaner fuels, cleaner energy for the state of Indiana, for the Northwest Indiana area. So, and it's great. It's a bright future.
Well, the inning is over. Thanks so much for stopping by, and thank you for partnering with the Oilmen and helping sponsor Police and Fire Appreciation Night here tonight.
Thank you, and thanks to the police and firemen for what you do. Keep it up. We appreciate it. Thank you.
There he is, Donnie Brown of BP Whiting. We're back with more in a moment on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
We don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back at Oil City Stadium as we move ahead here. Adam Oppenheim rejoins me, and some light rain has started to fall. We talked about how beautiful it was, and some dark clouds have moved into the area, and there is a chance for a few light showers as we move ahead. So we'll keep close eye on all the weather as that develops, but it's 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Going back to the top of this third inning, it was a 6-3 ground ball for Muha, and then Gould had a single. He was caught stealing. He left too soon. It goes as a caught stealing 1-6 for the second out of the third. And then Fisher flied to the deep corner and left for the third and final out of the inning. So facing the minimum in the top of this third was Jake Ostrowski. And now Avery fires a pitch that's fouled by Baker. And the count is 0-1 strike on Chris.
And it seems like every time Gould gets on first base, he looks to take off. But Ostrowski, knowing that, was able to step off and get him at second, one of the Generals' fastest runners, and loves to be aggressive on the base pass. That sets up a lot of his hitters with runners in scoring position.
Here's a pitch swung on and lifted foul off to the left out of play. Count 0-2 on Baker. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we play the bottom of inning number 3, the top of the Oilmen order up here in this third. Here comes the 0-2. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the left out of play. Remains no balls and 2 strikes.
It seems like every time Baker is bad against the Generals, he's worked deep counts, and Avery's just been attacking him every single pitch. That's a way to get a tough hitter out, is get ahead of them, which he has here.
Here's the 0-2 taken off the plate away, and the count now 1 ball and 2 strikes on Baker. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Baker is out on strikes. Avery strikes out Baker, and the veteran Baker, a strikeout victim for the second time today against young Cooper Avery.
Yeah, and Avery, another good pitch there that was able to get Baker to swing late. And when you're down 0-2 and a pitch is in the strike zone, a lot of the hitters are just guessing, and especially when you're a 4 or 5 pitch pitcher, it's really tough to predict what's going to come.
Now it's Hedrick with nobody on and 1 away. First pitch swing and a foul here at the plate. The count 0-1. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we play the bottom of inning number 3. Hedrick reached on a throwing error by the shortstop Munoz his first time. He eventually came around to score on an error as well. Here comes the 0-1. This is taken high for a ball. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike on Kane Hedrick.
This is a lot of times why Joe Silva pitches Cooper Avery against a lot of the top teams in the league, is because he throws a lot of strikes and doesn't usually miss badly.
1-1 low for a ball. Adam, it's 2-1.
He's just been really good at commanding the zone, and that's the number one thing as a pitcher. And combine that with his movement, forces weak contact, and gets strikeouts. That's what you want in a pitcher.
2-1 grounded and left side foul, and the count evens out at 2-2. Nothing Oilmen. The Oilmen really need a win tonight to try to get back in that win column after 2 really tough losses. First getting blown out by the Giants, and then having a shaky defensive performance last night in a loss to the Lake County Corn Dogs. Trying to bounce back, and they lead 2-0. 2-2 is taken high and outside for a ball, 3-2. Meanwhile, this is a Joliet team that has been on the other end of the hot and cold train of late. They've been rolling, having won 4 straight games to get over 500. This is the 9th matchup between these two teams this season, with the Oilmen owning a 5-3 edge. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Hedrick is out on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts to begin the inning for the righty.
And Hedrick chased that pitch way out of the zone. And even the one hit that Cooper Avery's given up to Zarnecki was obviously an error on the throw, but it was an infield single. So it's been a lot of weak contact for the Oilmen. Even though they're up 2-0, they got to find some way to get some offense without it just being the Generals' errors.
Here's a pitch taken for a strike by Marshall, and the count 0-1. Avery comes back 0-1. Here's the next offering, swing and a foul out of play. Count 0-2.
And Avery has been ahead of hitters, 0-2 in a lot of at-bats so far.
And it's taken for strike 3 call. He strikes out the side here, does Cooper Avery, as the Oilmen go 1-2-3 in the third. We've played 3. It's the Oilmen 2 and Joliet nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
And we're back here at Oil City Stadium as we get set for baseball to resume here in the fourth inning. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. 2 runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for Northwest Indiana. 0-1-3 for Joliet as we welcome a special guest to the booth here in this inning, as we will bring in that guest momentarily. It, of course, is Police and Fire Appreciation Night here at the ballpark. And we talked to him on Military Appreciation Night at the ballpark as well. Mike Andrade is with us, State Representative, Indiana District 12. Mike, thanks for joining me again. Excited to have you jump back on.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. You know what? And it's another beautiful evening here at the stadium, Oil City Stadium. And this time I'm back, and the Oilmen are up 2-0, which is great.
Right. Yeah, we'd love to have a victory tonight, and the Oilmen trying to get back on track a little bit. They've lost the last few nights, and we'll see if they can get in the win column here this evening on what is another pleasant night for a ball game. Well, let's talk about Police and Fire Appreciation Night. Why is this so important to you, and why is it such a high priority to be out here and to be representing the men and women of police and fire departments in Northwest Indiana?
Well, Brandon, I thank you, and I'm glad you mentioned that because I serve on the Public Safety Committee of the State House, and I've been very actively involved in the community with our first responders. I think if our communities are safe, our families are safe. If our families are safe, our children are safe. And if our communities are strong and vibrant, our state is strong and vibrant. But it all comes down to public safety. And people want to live in the community where they feel safe, and they feel their children could go to school and be safe. And you see everything going on a national level. What happened in Illinois, our neighboring state, with the Highland Park shooting. What happened this past weekend in Greenwood. So our first responders sacrifice their line every day. They're out there working hard for us to keep us safe. So that's why it's so important. And once again, I'm very pleased to see our first responders here tonight and having a great time with their family.
As Bryce Vincent strokes a single to left here to lead off the fourth inning against Ostrowski, Joliet's second hit of the day. Yeah, it seems like in our country right now it's more important than ever, and of course it's always been important, but now it's a little extra important to recognize those first responders that keep us safe.
It is very important, and that's why last week, Brandon, I brought, as you can see, I got my Lake County Sheriff polo on today supporting our Lake County Sheriff. But last week, I went down to the State House. And, oh, what a catch.
Yeah, Chris
what
Baker makes an excellent sliding catch in center.
Wow.
He has been excellent defensively for the Oilmen. That takes the base hit away from Dino Biggers.
Yes, and last week, Wednesday, I was there with the Lieutenant Governor at the State House. Our Lake County Sheriff brought in the Lake County Sheriff's mental health doctor, police chief from St. John, who's also the president of our Police Chiefs Association for District 1. Here, he's the president. And Paul, who's the FBI special agent here in Maryville, Chief Mance from Griffith, Chief Checo from Munster. And we went downstate to talk to the Lieutenant Governor on how we can continue to strengthen our state with public safety. And we all came together, brought the stakeholders. Afterwards, we met with the chairman of public safety, the director of Homeland Security, and a liaison for the Indiana Department of Education, so that we could talk about what are the policies, what can we do as legislators to support law enforcement, to support our schools so that our children are safe, and what can we do to continue to press the message that public safety is very important in our communities.
Yeah, it seems so important that those discussions are taking place. 1 out, runner on first, 1-1 on Deshante Caraway here. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball to the left side. Marshall fields it, go to second one. The throw to first is offline. It's a fielder's choice, 6-4 on the fielder's choice. Out at second, Vincent. Safe at first, Caraway. 2-0 Oilmen here as we play at the top of inning number 4. But I know you might not be able to get into all the specifics, but what are some of the things you covered in that meeting?
Mental health. Mental health is a big thing that we have to work together. That's why we brought in the mental health doctor who works with mental health and counselors and therapists at the Lake County Sheriff's Office, whether it's in the community, whether it's in the jail. And so I think mental health is very important. That's one of the biggest things that we have to continue to strengthen our mental health laws. But make sure that our state is giving resources, making sure that we are giving the resources towards mental health, whether it's expanding more beds in the hospitals towards mental health, whether it's allowing more counselors and therapists to practice mental health, whether it's having more resources to be able to get people who want to be in that profession, right? So right now we have a shortage of counselors and therapists in mental health. And so what are we doing to recruiting more and making sure that we have more people that want to be involved in the mental health system and allowing them to be able to complete their degree, have the funding for them to have their degree so they could be out there and be a counselor, therapist, psychiatrist, and that's something that is desperately needed right now.
Sure. No balls and 2 strikes here on Dupuis standing in, the left-handed batter for Joliet. What can the general public do if someone's out there listening? They want to be able to help in this space. What can they do to help keep our communities safe in this area?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because we, on a federal level and state level, we started a new program that is something that I've shared on my social media platforms. Mike Andrade for Indiana State Representative on social media, whether it's Facebook. But there is the Call, Text, or Chat 988 is a National Suicide Prevention Lifeline Network. So that's one of the things, that is going to offer whether someone's having issues with mental health, whether they're facing a personal mental health crisis, suicidal thoughts, direct mental health assistance is available. 1-800-273-8255 is a number that individuals could call in, and it's a lifeline where they could get assistance in whatever situation they're going to. And I say that no one needs to feel ashamed. Everyone goes through challenges in life differently. The main thing is people wanting to understand that there is circumstances that they can't control and they want to get help. Whether you have a family member, whether you know of a neighbor, a co-worker, someone in the community who's struggling, let them know that we have resources for them on a state and federal level to help them out. And that's the thing that I want to let the public know. If you know anyone in need, please reach out to them and let them know that we have resources available to help them out.
Well, it's so important. Thanks for coming on and sharing that message. The inning is over, but thanks for dropping by for a few minutes, Representative Andrade. And again, appreciate having you on and having you here tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you all. And let's get a win.
That sounds like a plan. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with the bottom of the 4th after this on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now you do.
Jack Zebig leads off the 4th inning for the Oilmen. First pitch here is a swing and a foul out of play left side, and the count is no balls and 1 strike on Zebig. It's 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Cooper Avery has taken the mound. To recap the last half inning for you, as Representative Andrade was here. Here's a swing and a fly ball to right center. Sliding for it and making the catch is Gould for the first out of the inning. F8 goes to retire Zebig, but recapping the last inning, Vincent singled, and then Biggers flew to center. A fielder's choice bouncer allowed Caraway to reach. Out at second on a 6-4 fielder's choice was Vincent, and then Dupuis struck out to end the inning. Now 1 away, and Zarnecki stands in.
Yeah, good catch there by Gould, and a couple center fielders trading sliding catches.
Here's ball 1 ball and no strikes. Here's a pitch high and in for a ball 2-0.
And Zebig's hit one of the Oilmen's only hard hit balls, and unfortunately it just hung up too much. The either of these teams would love some more leadoff runners aboard.
Here's the 2-0, taken for a strike, and the count 2-1. Zarnecki drove in a run with his ground ball earlier. Here he grounds one to the left side. Sliding stop by Vincent. Spin around, one hop throw to first, not in time. This is a base hit for Zarnecki as Vincent had to throw from the seat of his pants to try to get Zarnecki at first base, and it goes as a single when that comes with one away here in the fourth.
Yeah, good stop there by Vincent, but the only shot he had to get Zarnecki out was to throw absolute cannon, but it's very hard to throw accurately when you're winding up that hard. That was a full pitching motion, and Fisher was not able to scoop it.
A good throw may get him, but this does not qualify as what you'd consider a two-part play. The bad throw was a product of him having to lay out for the ball, and that leads to a single for Zarnecki, and now Josh Conniff will stand in next with the Oilmen leading 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth on a day where this is low and outside for a ball. The pitching on both sides has been outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely, and the 2 runs on the board for the Oilmen were a lot of errors. And we haven't seen a ton of hard hit balls. We've seen some strikeouts and some weak contacts so far.
Here comes the 1-0. It's high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes on Conniff.
And now you're seeing Avery fall behind of a few batters. Sometimes you tire once you're getting into the 4th, 5th range. For a lot of these Joliet pitchers, they only go 4 to 6 innings for their starts.
Here's a pickoff throw to first. It's in time. Out at first base is Zarnecki. They caught him leaning the wrong way, and he was indeed out. It's a 1-3 putout for the second out of the 4th inning.
Yeah, and Cooper Avery actually did that in his last start against the Giants on Saturday. And catching another runner there as he's been checking on first most of the day when there has been runners on, and that time just a quick move over to first in a big second out of this inning, especially when he's behind 2-0.
And the 2-0 taken for a strike, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Conniff struck out looking his first time. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Bottom of inning number 4. Here's the 2-1 pitch. This is taken for strike 2 called, and we go even at 2-2.
Boy, and if I'm Avery, I'd probably throw that pitch in the same exact spot. Obviously, Caraway didn't have a great frame, but that is a really tough ball to hit.
Here's the 2-2. This is swung on and popped up. It's on the infield and playable as Munoz camps underneath it. The shortstop gloves it, and the inning ends. No runs, 1 hit, and nobody left for the Oilmen in the 4th. Leo will have it for you when we come back. It's the Oilmen 2 and Joliet 0 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Leo Staudacher, Adam Oppenheim with you for the top of inning number 5 here at Oil City Stadium, where Jake Ostrowski is still on the mound for the Oilmen here. He'll be opposing Stote on the top of the order, Munoz and Muha. For the Generals, 2 hits through 4 innings, but they've been getting some opportunities. They had 2 base runners on in the last inning. You have to feel like this is something that's eventually going to break through, that if they keep getting base runners, they're setting themselves up for something against Ostrowski, who's been pitching very well nonetheless, but if you continue getting base runners on the way they have, something's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a diving catch by Chris Baker that avoided first and second with no outs. Michael Gould got caught stealing from the pitcher to erase him, and the Generals have a couple of walks, a couple of hits, but they've had plenty of runners on this game to push runs across. Just the difference in the game is the 3 errors in the bottom of the first inning. That was, I believe it was 3 straight errors that scored 2 runs, both unearned against Avery. So it's really been a pitcher's duel, neither giving up a single earned run.
And for both of these teams, that's something that is a big change after their games the night before. The Oilmen falling to the Corn Dogs 11-8, using 5 pitchers, and then for the Corn Dogs, or for the Generals, their big 23-20 game yesterday. A pitcher's duel is a welcome sight for sore eyes.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure a lot of the team, like I said, after the game, they'd certainly prefer a pitcher's duel than needing to score 23 runs to win one singular baseball game in 7 innings.
Ostrowski's first pitch to Stote is in there for a strike. Nice breaking ball from the right-hander. Yeah, that's definitely not a sustainable strategy, going out there and trying to score 20 runs. But tonight they just need to try to get 2 here to tie up the Oilmen, as the home team only has 2 hits as well, so Avery's pulling his weight. The 0-1 swing and a miss for strike 2. Stote, who was hit by a pitch his first time up, is down 0-2.
And Generals have gone 2 leadoff runners aboard. They would love a third with the top of the lineup incoming. Up next on deck.
So now Ostrowski gets ready for his 0-2 delivery. Kicks and fires towards the plate. This one's chopped over to shortstop to Marshall. He throws sidearm in time to Zarnecki for out number 1.
And something so important about fielding that doesn't get talked about enough when in terms of fielding the ball and throwing it cleanly is where your momentum is going. And David Marshall takes it off a good hop, scoops it, and is already on the infield grass so he can make a strong throw across the diamond. When you're leaning on your back foot, that's where the throws go into the dirt, or you try to overcompensate and throw it over the head of the first baseman.
That's a good point you bring up as Diego Munoz comes to the box here. His first pitch from Ostrowski clips him, so he'll take base. Munoz was the subject of an article in the Beverly Review as of recently. He was a Mount Carmel graduate, talking about how he played 4 years at Western Illinois and is now looking for a new school to play for closer to home. And he's using his experience in the Northern League to kind of showcase his skills, and was deservedly named an All-Star last week.
He's been really good this year, hitting .352, 27 walks coming into this to just 11 strikeouts. He's been the leadoff batter most of the year for Joliet and plays shortstop and third base and second base.
Now the first pitch to Muha is called a strike. That's what Munoz has been able to do, showcase his skills, play a couple of different positions, and now he's been looking for that next college after a good run in Macomb. Now Muha, the left-handed batter, in the box here as Ostrowski throws over to first. Munoz gets back safely.
Yeah, he's just a player you want on your ball club, Munoz, who is a smart player, although he's made a few errors this year.
Another pickoff move by Ostrowski.
He's just been a really clean fielder and makes some of the difficult plays look easy. And a lot of his errors this year have actually been the easy ones that he's sort of taken too nonchalantly, and they've ended up being errors.
Now Ostrowski settles for the 0-1, firing from the stretch outside for ball 1. And I thought that was a good point you brought up about the momentum leading to errors by the infielders, because that's what we saw a lot of last night with the Oilmen. 6 errors, a lot of those coming in the infield by throws over to first that maybe you're rushing, where you're moving too forward too fast, and then you kind of just go through the motions too quickly. So we get a swing and a miss for strike 2, and that results in the overthrow, or when your footwork's not as solid, that really takes away some of the accuracy you get throwing over to first, and that's where a bulk of those 6 errors came from with the Oilmen, was trying to just get those easy putouts to first base.
Yeah, and absolutely. And the thing is, you don't really know where the ball is going or what kind of hop it's going to take, but if you're able to set your feet and fire a strong throw, it's way more likely to be accurate if you're balanced and facing towards where you want to throw it.
The 1-2 from Ostrowski. Swing and miss for strike 3. He gets Muha to go down swinging for out number 2 in this inning. And frankly, those errors extend a lot of innings, and when you're facing a team like Lake County, they're going to take advantage of that. When you have to send your pitcher out there to throw against multiple batters that he shouldn't have to face, that's just not a good recipe, as that was what really cost the Oilmen, as you give up 7 unearned runs. That was the difference in that game, where they also scored 8 runs. Now Ostrowski facing Michael Gould, atop many of the statistical categories in the league, and he sends this one deep to left field. This one hooks left and goes foul. That was a strong shot out there to left field. Would have surpassed the Brick Monster if it was fair, but instead hits the netting for a foul ball.
Yeah, Ostrowski made a mistake there. He left a breaking ball right where Gould likes it, inside part of the plate. And Michael Gould, a lot of times, he swings at the first pitch. A lot of times, no matter where it is, and got a good pitch to hit and just hooked it. Be a great time for his first home run of the season.
There's a man on first base, 2 away here. The Generals trail 2-0. Ostrowski facing the right-handed batting Gould. Fires this one towards the plate, and he sends this one out towards center field. Chris Baker's going to have to move to his left, and he gets there on the hop, but boots it away. Rounding third is Munoz. Going for third base is Gould. Munoz is going to score, and Gould slides in safely to third base. Almost goes off the bag there. Ziebig applies the tag, but Gould gets back safely.
Yeah, and Ostrowski made the same mistake twice. A slider on the inside part of the plate up in the zone. That time Gould didn't get a ton of it, but still hit out to right center. And especially when you see that foul ball hit, you got to go away to a hitter like Gould, because a lot of times his power is on the inside part of the plate. And even though he didn't power it into right center, it got easily by Baker.
Gould, one of the top hitters in the league. He really made Ostrowski pay for that when he can't make the same mistake twice against a hitter of his caliber. This brings another dangerous Generals hitter, Brennan Fisher, up to the box here, the left-handed hitting first baseman. We'll be facing Ostrowski with a man on third and 2 away. The right-hander blows in a strike to start the count off 0-1.
And now you have to worry about throwing a wild pitch that would almost certainly score the speedy Gould. And got to find the zone to get the last out of this inning to not surrender the lead.
So now Ostrowski gets ready to fire here. Looking down for a sign from his catcher, fires this one outside for ball 1. The count is 1-1 with 2 away to Brennan Fisher in the box. Jake Ostrowski on the mound here. The Generals cutting back into this one. You really don't want to see them get off to a roll as they start to heat up here in the top of the 5th inning. Trailing 2-1 here. The tying run is 90 feet away as the left-handed batting Fisher's in the box. The 1-1 pitch in the dirt for ball 2. So now Ostrowski falls behind in the count here.
And it's so tough to fall behind against these Generals hitters because they really do like their fastballs. And you're forcing the pitcher to throw it in the zone.
Count is 2-1 still, and Ostrowski maybe pitching around a little bit more. Doesn't want to make a mistake. To Fisher here, one of the Generals' top hitters with the tying run. Just a few feet away from home plate. He fires the 2-1 outside, high and away to make it a 3-1.
Yeah, and you're talking about working around a batter like Fisher, but then you have Vincent on deck and Biggers in the hole, who's hit the ball well 2 times, and they both resulted in outs. Just kind of pick your poison at this point. You got to find a way to get out of this inning with just the 1 run.
Fisher has worked 15 free passes on the season, and that one will make it 16 as it's outside and away for ball 4. So that'll put runners on the corners. Still 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning.
And Ostrowski was just forced to go to his fastball a lot, and how you get Fisher out a lot of times is with the breaking ball. And he's a good fastball hitter and saw a lot of those pitches sailing way outside, and he draws an easy walk.
I'll bring Bryce Vincent, last season's MVP, into the box here. Vincent's 1 for 2 so far this evening with a single back in the 4th inning. Now he comes to the box with 2 away and 2 men on. Runners on first and third. Takes the first pitch from Ostrowski outside for ball 1.
And coming into this thing, we talked about the Generals' traffic on the bases. Now trying to pay it off. They've had 1 in this inning, but they would love to tie the game after their defense struggled.
Pickoff move from Ostrowski doesn't get there in time as Fisher's able to slide back safely. Count still 1-0 at the plate. The right-handed hitting Vincent waves the bat around his shoulders, getting ready for the pitch from the right-hander Ostrowski. He sends this one through the gap at third and short, That will roll out to left field where Hedrick has a little trouble playing it. And that'll score Gould, so now the Generals tie things up at 2 apiece here in the top of the 5th inning.
And that's the thing about walking Fisher and then going down 1-0 to Vincent. And once again, it's the slider over the middle of the plate that hangs up for too long. And Vincent just hits it hard enough past Zebig. But as a hitter, when you see a lot of those hanging breaking balls, that's usually the easiest pitch to hit for most hitters.
So bringing left-hand hitting Dino Biggers to the box here. Biggers playing the designated hitting spot today. I understand he was one of the featured players on the mound in last night's efforts.
Hey, he pitched strikes.
You can say that as the first pitch is in there for a strike to Biggers. It goes behind 0-1 here. That's a tough one, being one of the pitchers called to action in last night's marathon of a game, but now he gets to pick up the lumber and do some swinging here instead.
Yeah, I think he was originally like the first or second guy out of the bullpen. He's had 4 scoreless coming into that, and yesterday happened.
So now the count is 0-1 as Biggers fouls this away. Makes it 0-2.
And Ostrowski gets ahead of Biggers. Now 0-2, so pouring out to get.
So Ostrowski trying to work out of a jam here. The Generals have tied things up at 2 apiece. They have Fisher on second base, Vincent on first, Biggers in the box. Ostrowski on the mound trying to just get one more strike in here and diffuse the threat a little bit. He looks at the base runners, now prepares for his 0-2 delivery, fires it towards the plate. That one's low for ball 1. Still ahead here at 1-2, though.
That's a good pitch from Ostrowski to try to get Biggers to chase her up 0-2. And sometimes a lot of teams are not always ready for a strike to be thrown on 0-2. This Generals team is usually ready to swing away.
So now Ostrowski, the Lockport graduate, opposing Gould here. Puts one high. That'll even the count at 2 apiece. 2s across the board here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The score is 2-2. 2 men on base.
A lot of 2s.
Just had to point that out there. Lots of symmetry on the scoreboard if you're looking at that. 2 hits for the Oilmen. I think that's all.
2 of us broadcasting.
Oh, yeah, there's another one. 2 umpires. And the 2-2 pitch is low and away for ball 3, so that'll make it a full count. Breaks up the symmetry we had going there.
And now Ostrowski is not exactly forced to throw a pitch in the zone, but Biggers is going to look for one in the zone, and Carey, the power hitter, on deck. Doesn't want to load the bases.
We saw what Deshante Caraway can do at this stadium. This is maybe one of his first games with the team, as the payoff pitch is in the dirt, but swinging on it is Biggers for strike 3. So that'll end that situation, but not before the Generals put 2 runs on the board. They tie things up at 2. Midway through 5 here, it's Oilmen 2, Generals 2. We'll be back for the bottom of 5th on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
back here for the bottom of the fifth inning. Leo Stauder and Adam Oppenheim as Cooper Avery stick it on the mound here. And now Avery gets that run support he very much needed, as he's been pitching pretty solid throughout this game. And now the Generals put him in a position where he can try to maybe leave still as a pitcher of record here, as we're tied 2 for 2, or at least take away the opportunity for him to be the losing pitcher, as it'll be Curcio, Tyler, and Ostrowski to lead things off here.
Yeah, it would have been terrible, or it still could be, that Avery is losing pitcher after giving up 0 earned runs, but now it's not possible as of now.
So now Dom Curcio, the left-handed batter, right fielder, lays one down the line. Good bunt, goes over to third base where Vincent gets a hand on it, cannot throw over in time, so Curcio bunts his way on base to lead off the bottom of the fifth inning.
Yeah, and that's one way to get off a hit. A pitcher who's really been dealing like Avery is. Have a perfect bunt there. That was no doubt that was going to stay fair. It stayed on the grass the entire way, and I'm surprised Vincent even threw that ball. Sort of a opportunity to make an error and no reward for actually getting it there.
So to bring Kyle Tyler into the box here. It may be a risky throw by Vincent too, throwing that down the line, as that could have resulted in Curcio advancing, as this one's high for ball 1. So now Curcio finds his way on base after he had a pretty solid night last night. He's certainly seeming to continuing to find different ways to get on base, whether it's the walks, laying down a good bunt like that. He's been manufacturing his way on quite a bit. The 1-0 to Tyler, swing and a miss for strike 1.
And that's the first leadoff runner aboard for the Oilmen, and an opportunity to regain the lead. It's been really a close game so far.
Tyler was a ground-out victim his last time up, as Avery tries a pickoff move over to first base. Tyler, playing second base today, has really burst onto the scene. .357 average coming into tonight's game through 7 games. 10 hits, 10 runs scored. That's low for ball 2. A player who recently finished his high school career and has just been helping out the Oilmen quite a bit. 4 doubles as well. Avery stares down, leans towards the plate to get the signal for his 2-1 pitch from Caraway. Now he fires out of the stretch, swing and a miss for strike 2. That'll even things up at 2 apiece.
And it'll be interesting to see how Avery works through this 5th and possibly 6th. He's really worked a lot of deeper counts as he's gone later into this game.
So now Curcio gets off to a lead at first base. Avery on the mound fires the 2-2 pitch. Tyler skies this one in foul territory, third baseline. Camping under it is Vincent, and he loses it in the lights or in somewhere, and the ball drops. So Tyler finds a second chance here.
Yeah, I think he lost it possibly in the sky, but I'm not sure. I don't think that ball was, it was hit high, but I don't think it's high enough to get caught in the sky. And you can see now we just have that classic example of everyone's arms being out. We've seen a lot in professional baseball where I don't know where the ball is, but obviously in foul territory, not a ton of harm, but really depending on what happens this at-bat.
So now Avery, again, doing kind of that Craig Kimbrell lean forward, the 2-2, swing and a miss by Tyler for out number 1. Gets a much-needed strikeout there. After Curcio made his way on base, he follows up the next batter with a strikeout. Brings the pitcher/designated hitter, Jake Ostrowski, to the box here with 1 away and a man on. This is a big spot here. You want to bring the top of the order back up with 2 outs.
Yeah, I was just
only
about
1
to,
on.
I was just about to mention if, Tyler got on, set up an opportunity with runners in scoring position for the top of the lineup, which is very dangerous.
And Ostrowski belts this into the left center gap. That's going to take a roll over to Gould. So how about that? A single for Ostrowski as Vincent gets the relay throw, looks Curcio back to second base. But Ostrowski with a 1-out single. That's the 3rd hit of the season for him when he's been called to action here. He had 2 hits in a game against the Corn Dogs, one of those being a walk-off single. And then he picks up another one there. Some good pop to his bat.
Yeah, he read that pitch well on the breaking ball. And really a great play in the outfield by Michael Gould to, first of all, cut it off. That probably would have scored Curcio if it got to the wall. And second of all, make a strong throw to Vincent to hold Curcio at second.
So now that brings Chris Baker, the Oilman leadoff hitter. Baker's 0 for 2 so far as he sends this one down the foul line left field near the General bullpen, and that'll go into the pen. But Baker, an uncharacteristic 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts today. He's looking to get on base for the first time this evening here in the bottom of the 5th inning. With a tie game here, 2 men on, this could be a big spot for him to break through.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's fallen behind in a lot of counts against Avery, and that's what have induced those strikeouts.
So now Avery fires his 0-1 pitch. That's outside for ball 1. And Baker's had some real big games against the Generals this season, so you know how important it is when they see his name in the lineup card. They want to figure out a strategy to take him down, and getting him behind in some of these counts seems to be working so far.
And you want to keep him not batting with runners on as well.
He swings over that 1-1 pitch for strike 2. So now again, behind in this count. You have Curcio on second base, Ostrowski on first, Baker in the box here. Lefty on righty matchup as he's facing the right-hander, Avery. Stares down. Now Baker calls time, steps back a little bit. Steps right back in.
And that breaking ball has been working against Baker. He's got him out in front quite a few times. We'll see if he goes back to it.
And the 1-2. Baker bats that over to second base where Dupuis misplays it. That'll be an error on the second baseman that allows the Oilmen to load the bases. Baker kind of just stabbed that over to second. Looked like he skipped it over there. Dupuis tried to handle it on the hop, and it just kind of popped out of his throwing hand as he was maybe going for the double play there. That puts Baker on first and loads the bases for Kane Hedrick.
And you got to think Dupuis was thinking about the speed of Baker, but at some point you just got to get the out at second, and we've seen some ugly fielding to say the least. These 4 errors, all of them have been plays that they easily should have made, and especially that one. Now it's bases loaded.
So now Hedrick, who reached on an error in the first inning, scored one of the 2 runs of the game for the Oilmen, takes a first pitch strike from Avery. He has Curcio on third base, Ostrowski on second, Baker on first. And only one away here as the Oilmen and Generals are tied at 2 runs each. He swings over that one to make the count 0-2.
And here's the thing, if you're in the mind of Cooper Avery, you gotta be thinking, I'm going for a strikeout and not risk any ball being put in play, because really he doesn't have a ton of reason to trust his defense right now. He's let him down so far in this one, and it would keep the runners at their bases, and it would be a big strikeout for him.
Avery gets the signs from Caraway as he's looking for the right combination on the 0-2 pitch. He sends this towards the plate. Hedrick fouls it away, so he stays alive here in the box. Avery just going right at him there, throwing something that he was able to put the bat on, just wasn't able to put it in play.
Yeah, the thing about Avery is he doesn't go for a lot of those chase pitches. He throws it, stuff in the zone that sort of drops out, but he doesn't start a lot of stuff just way away. So he really induces a lot of swing and misses, and sometimes catches the hitter off guard in 0-2 that they need to be ready to swing.
That's what Hedrick was trying to do there, just stabbed it away, staying alive in the box. The 0-2 skips into the dirt, bounces away from Caraway, but he keeps it in front of him. So that makes it a 1-2 count and keeps all the base runners at their spots. Again, bases full of Oilmen here. Curcio on third, Ostrowski on second, Baker on first. Only one out. The count's 1-2 at the plate. The Oilmen are looking to break through this 2-2 tie here and get back on top in the bottom of inning number 5. Now Avery prepares to face the right-hander Hedrick. The 1-2. That one loops low and away for ball 2.
That's a good take by Hendricks. And a tough 2-strike pitch that starts on the plate and moves off. Now he's working a bit of a deeper count, and any ball put in play into the outfield will probably score a run.
So Avery trying to get out of this jam. It was a single to Curcio, a single to Ostrowski, and then an error that put Baker on. He's just looking to try to figure out a way to get 2 outs. There's a force active anywhere, so that could be one way to get it. Double play could also help them out a ton here. There's a chance for a strikeout here with a 2-2 count. And here's the pitch. Hedrick pops that in the air. Shallow left field. Getting under it is Stote. He's going to throw towards the plate. That one gets to Caraway. Covering home plate is Vincent, so that'll keep everybody at place. As the throw was a little wayward, but good cover by Vincent to make sure nobody tried to test him and tag up and go towards home plate.
Yeah, I was thinking, obviously, you don't want to run to the third out, but might try to test the arm there, and a lot of things have to go right. You have to get the throw on line, which it wasn't, and the catcher has to catch it and put down the tag. But of course, you do have David Marshall up now, so you don't want to risk him not getting at bat with the bases loaded.
And Marshall had some big games against the Generals in a doubleheader back in, I think that was early July. He had a boatload of hits in that game. It just seems like every time we play the Oilmen and the Generals play at LaFun Stadium, it's Marshall that really explodes for the Oilmen, as he is 1 for 2 so far, or 0 for 2 technically. He reached on an error and scored in the first inning, struck out in the third, takes a first pitch ball from Avery.
And wouldn't this be something if Avery was able to get out of this inning without any damage after an error and a couple good hits by the Oilmen?
So now the 1-0 from Avery. That skips away from Caraway, rolling towards the backstop. Charging towards home plate is Curcio. All the base runners will advance. Ostrowski moves from second to third. Baker goes from first to second. And going from third to home is Curcio. So the Oilmen take the lead right back. They lead 3-2 after that pass ball error gets Curcio home.
And that's what happens when you have errors. You leave yourself no room for error.
Well done there.
That was actually no pun intended, but I just thought my sense because I thought of it after. I'm like, man, I did not mean to make that, but it's still a true statement.
Yeah, the point is definitely true, as when those errors, those self-inflicted mistakes, put base runners on, give you less room to wiggle out as the pitcher, as that's outside for ball 3. That just puts so much more pressure on you, especially someone like Avery, where you're in the 5th inning, probably near the end of your day, your pitch count's coming up. Being in a high leverage situation like this is tough to get out of.
He has 7 strikeouts and 3 runs, 0 which are earned, and allowed only 4 hits.
That's a pretty good stat line, as the 3-0 misses for ball 4, so the bases will be reloaded. Again, as the Oilmen leading 3-2 here. Have Jack Ziebig up here with the maximum on. 2 outs, bases loaded. The Oilmen now lead by 1. This is a chance for them to make it more, but now Joe Silva will come out to the mound to have a chat with his pitcher, bring the whole infield in as well.
Yeah, I think the chat with his pitcher is important, but also with the rest of the infield, that you got to talk to them that they need to help their pitcher out. Only actually the first walk for Avery, and that's going to be it. That's surprising.
So there will be a pitching change. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have the latest on the new general pitcher, and he'll be facing Ziebig with the bases loaded. So stick around. You're following Oilman Baseball on the Northwest Indiana Oilman Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Lando Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
And that will be all for Cooper Avery as the Generals make the move to their pen. We're at Oil City Stadium, where the Northwest Indiana Oilmen lead the Joliet Generals 3-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. They have the bases loaded, and their cleanup hitter Jack Ziebig in the box. Ashton Shaw will be on the mound. Adam, what can you tell us about the left-hander who comes in a tough spot for Joliet?
Well, he pitched the first inning with the Generals this season against the Giants and allowed no hits and 2 strikeouts. And we'll see how his location is, because it's the bases loaded with 2 outs, and a very interesting situation for him to come in this ball game. And we might also see some other Generals pitchers start to warm up, but still a good outing from Avery, and unfortunately he's not going to be able to get the win.
Yeah, not the way Avery wanted to finish what was otherwise a pretty good outing. Again, the errors in the first inning weren't really his fault, as he was pitching for a little bit of contact. That's where 2 of those runs came from. And now the Oilmen put up another solo tally with the potential for more, and an error helped load the bases. 70 pitches for Avery, and that was all she wrote for him. A walk to Marshall is really what just finished things off for him, as it'll be Ostrowski on third base, Baker on second, Marshall on first. It'll be Ziebig in the box. Ziebig was an all-star for the Oilmen, playing in the game last week. Recent high school graduate, but you really don't even notice it the way he's been swinging the bat this season. Through 25 games, comes into this one batting .351, has driven in 18 runs, takes a first pitch ball from Schwab. So now it's a lefty-lefty matchup. Ziebig is 1 for 2 so far. He had a single back in the first inning and flew out to center on a really good play by Gould in the fourth inning. He takes another ball from Schwab.
And now you're wondering if 2 outs, if you were going to put a lefty in anyways, Marshall was the batter before, so I guess it was the one walk to Marshall that really was it for Avery.
That one's high and away for ball 3. And this is one of the tough things about putting a pitcher in when there's already the bases loaded. You don't really get that feeling out process. You have to go up there and be perfect. You don't have the opportunity to kind of pitch around. There's nowhere to put Ziebig here, and 3 straight pitches outside the zone for Schwab have not done him any favors here, as here comes the 3-0. 2 outs here. That's in there for a strike. That'll make it a 3-1 count.
And if you're Schwab, you're probably hoping Ziebig is trying to put something on play on the 3-0 pitch, but obviously smart enough to know one more ball and they extend the lead.
And Ziebig helps out Schwab there, swinging at one outside the zone. That was breaking away from him, and that'll make it a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Bases loaded. It's a 3-2 ball game. The Oilmen lead 3-2, but they would like to extend that, and this is a pretty good opportunity to try to do that. Here comes the payoff pitch from Schwab. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Ziebig goes down swinging. So the Oilmen get 1 in this inning, but they leave the maximum. But they take back the lead. It's now Oilmen 3, Generals 2. You're following along as we move into the 6th inning on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am Ivy Tech Community College. Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Back at Oil City Stadium as we take it to inning number 6 with Adam Oppenheim. Brennan Vickery back with you. Leo Staudaher is with us as well. James Dorr working alongside also. It's the Oilmen 3 and Joliet 2 as we take it to inning number 6. And there's a new pitcher on the mound for Northwest Indiana. Chris Seropian, the left-hander, is completing his warm-up tosses, and he's set to take over for today's ball game. And at least the resumption of it here as we get set for inning number 6. Ostrowski goes 5 innings. He yields 3 hits and 2 runs. They were earned. He walks 3 and strikes out 4. So Ostrowski is done. Seropian is in, and he will go at the lower third of the Joliet order here in this 6th inning. Caraway, Dupuis, and Stote scheduled to hit for Joliet. The Oilmen 3 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 4 errors for Joliet. As we kind of reset things here, Adam, and look back at the ball game so far, the defense has been the biggest factor tonight.
Yeah, and Joliet, to be quite frankly, is ridiculously lucky to be only down by 1 run. They have been clear errors that have led to every single run, and lucky to get out of that inning. Ziebig swung at a 3-1 pitch outside the zone. That would have rocked in a run. Instead, they get out of the inning with the strikeout and only give up the 1.
Here comes the first pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air. Hedrick, the left fielder, is underneath it, and he gloves it for the first out of the inning. Flying to left is Caraway, and there's one away here in the 6th.
A big first down, one pitch. That was a good pitch to hit for Caraway, but just got under it. We've seen him send it over that wall and left, but got under it too much. This is a tough, really tough bottom of the order, though, with Dupuis up next.
Good crowd on hand tonight. Great Oilman audience here. A lot of fans on the grassy berm area. This is taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. We've got ourselves a good, close, competitive ball game between the Oilmen and the Generals. Here comes the 0-1 from Seropian. It's taken high and tight for a ball, 1 ball, and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Dupuis. Swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-2.
That was such a weird pitch. I couldn't even tell if Dupuis was early or late on that because that completely fooled Dupuis.
This is low for a ball. The count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Seropian. Here's the set for the 2-2 offering. And the break even. Taken low and outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
Joliet has some time to get back into it, but they've been able to get runners on base, and that's what they're trying to do here.
And this is taken for strike 3 called. Seropian catches Dupuis looking for the second out of the 6th inning.
That's the second time that curveball has been in there. The first time on the outside part of the plate. That time it catches the inside part. And a big strike 3. If that was a ball, that would have been a runner on base with just 1 out.
Fastball, changeup, curve, and a cutter. The repertoire for Seropian. Here's the first pitch. It's taken high and in for a ball, 1 ball, and no strikes on Stote. He is coming back from an injury. He medical redshirted this year during the college season. This is taken for a strike call. And he'll head back to Lakeland to continue junior college. 1 ball and a 1 strike. The count, 2 outs, 3-2 in favor of the Oilmen. As we play inning number 6, here comes the 1-1. It's low for a ball, and the count 2-1. He said that he's had obviously a lot of adversity with a great junior year of high school, and then his senior year was canceled due to COVID, and then his freshman year he doesn't play in college, and the injury that he's been dealing with, but it's good to see him on the mound, and he's pitched well for the Oilmen so far this summer. Here's a strike called, and the count 2-2. Limited duty, a little bit late starting with the Oilmen as he was still coming back from injury.
Yeah, absolutely, and a big spot he's in now. He's now pitched in 3 consecutive weeks after starting on July the 7th, then July the 14th.
Here's a ground ball off the glove of Seropian, knocked down, sent to the left side, no play. This will be a base hit for Stote, a 2-out infield single off the glove of Seropian. And that will rotate things around to the top of the order in Munoz.
And once again, Joliet's been able to get base runners on. And we'll see if they're aggressive on the bases. We'd assume they probably don't steal with Munoz up and Seropian, the lefty, on the mound.
Give you a little bit more information on the injury that we alluded to for Seropian. Here's a swing and a miss. He had an ulnar nerve transition, moving the nerve from on the top of his forearm, and it's been a quite long and slow recovery process. He had surgery back on November the 1st. This pitch is taken for strike 2 call, and is still been battling his way back from that. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. It's way high for a ball, 1-2. Try to get him to chase, and laying off was Munoz.
And now Joliet trying to work from behind here. Munoz behind 2 strikes, trying to have a more lengthy at-bat.
1-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Seropian strikes out Munoz. 2 strikeouts in the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for Joliet after 5.5. It's the Oilmen 3 and Joliet 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce. as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Ashton Shaw is completing his warm-up tosses, and he's set to go after the Oilmen here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 for Northwest Indiana against the left-hander. In that last inning, when he came in the 5th inning, he was able to wiggle out of it and get a strikeout, although Zebig may have gone after a pitch outside the zone, and Schwab had kind of gotten behind in the count, but he battled back, got the swinging strikeout, and leaving the bases loaded were the Oilmen. So the move worked out for Joe Silva to go to the bullpen in that spot and bring in the left-hander who got the final out of the inning after he inherited a bases-loaded jam. 1 run scored in that inning, charged to Avery, but it was an unearned run. So Avery gives up 3 runs, 2 earned in his 4 2/3 innings of work. He walked 1 and struck out 6. Now it'll be Kyle Zarnecki to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for Northwest Indiana. He's 1 for 2. He swings at the first pitch and pops it up shallow center. This is a little flare. It's going to get down for a base hit. A Texas League style single for Kyle Zarnecki begins this 6th inning. It's his 2nd hit of the day, and he is now 2 for 3 and also drove in a run with his ground ball in the 1st inning. So a big offensive day for the Oilman first baseman, and we'll see if this leads to bigger and better things for the Oilman offense, who regained the lead at 3-2 by scoring a run in the bottom of the 5th inning after yielding 2 in the top of that frame. We've hit 9 o'clock on AM 1230 WJOB. We're also on Region Sports, Facebook Live, and JED TV. Happy to have you with us. However, you might be watching or listening on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. Conniff stands in and takes a strike call. Then the count is no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 here. A base hit a moment ago for Zarnecki. Here comes the let's see, time called here. So the 5th Oilman hit of the day a moment ago. Each team now with 5 hits. Here's the 0-1, and they caught him leaning the wrong way again. He's out again. Kyle Zarnecki has been picked off twice in this game, and that is the first out of the 6th inning.
And a good move there by Schwab, and another important out, erasing, would-be leadoff base runner, and just as erase him just like that.
Zarnecki has been picked off twice, and the Oilmen now nobody on and 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th inning, but they do lead it by a score of 3-2. This is high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes on Conniff, who's batting for the 3rd time today, one of the newer members of the Oilmen. He's 0 for 2 on the day. 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the set and the next pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air to right, looping, and it's going to fall in for a base hit. The 2nd Texas League-style single of the inning, a little flare that falls in there and right. Conniff has his first base hit of the day. Back-to-back singles begin this inning, but there's 1 on with 1 away after the pickoff a moment ago, and that'll bring up Curcio. So now it's Curcio standing in. the set from Schwab. His pitch is high for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Back-to-back singles to begin this 6th inning. But again, 1 out, 1 on. The Oilmen a 3-2 lead. They'd love to add to it here in this frame. Here's the set and the 1-0 pitch. Swinging a foul, and we have a balk has been called. So a balk is called. So no pitch there. That will not count. And instead, Conniff will be awarded second base after the balk. Now Joe Silva, Adam, is out to argue with base umpire Mike Clay, who called the balk.
It's not really an argument from Schwab, which is interesting, but I guess sometimes you have the manager do that work for you. One that comes to mind, Aaron Boone of the Yankees. Those low pitches to Judge.
Yes, he was very displeased, to say the very least. But this is not as heated of an argument from Joe Silva. He just has a few words with a long-time Northern League umpire Mike Clay. And now Conniff awarded second base, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on Curcio. Schwab set, and he delivers 1-0. This is taken for a strike call, and the count evens out at a ball and a strike.
And he's looked real sharp here. He's given up a couple bloop hits, but it's way easier to be in a situation when the bases are empty than with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Here's the 1-1. This is taken just high for a ball, 2-1. Three-two Oilmen as we play bottom of inning number 6. Oilmen back-to-back hits to start this inning. Let's see if Curcio can add to the hit parade. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss. And the count evens out at 2-2.
And Schwab, another one of those Oakton products. Really has had good velocity on his fastball. And it's important to have out of the bullpen, mixing it up with a lot of starters who might not throw as hard as the bullpen pitchers.
Here's the pitch outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
And it also makes you way more prone to chase the ball if it's coming at you faster. It's the less time you have to make a decision. And I think that's what we saw with Ziebig the last inning, where it looked like sort of half swing, but he swung through it enough.
Here comes the payoff pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air, left field. This is going to be caught by the left fielder, Stote, and that is the second out of the inning. So Curcio flies to left for out number 2. Now 2 gone and a runner on second base for Tyler. That's a big out as the runner remains at second after being in scoring position with 1 away.
Hey, you want to keep the lead at 1. You know your offense has the ability to strike for runs, but with the way the Oilmen have been pitching, which has been a lot of strikes, they're going to need to get together some hits.
Kyle Tyler standing in. He's 0 for 2. Here's Schwab's pitch. Swing and a miss, and the count 0-1. Warm, beautiful night at Oil City Stadium. We talked with the VP of BP, Donnie Brown, earlier, and his beautiful oil refinery has lit up here as night has fallen. Here's a swing and a miss, 0-2, and provides that one-of-a-kind backdrop to Oil City Stadium. Lights illuminating the field of play. Nice warm summer night. A 1-run game between the Oilmen and the Generals. Here's the 0-2. High and outside for a ball. And these two teams, of course, matched up in the league championship series a year ago.
And as of right now, it is still possible. The Generals have really pulled away from the Panthers, and that's why that win yesterday was also so big, besides the high-scoring affair.
1-2 taken for strike 3 call, and we'll get back to that in a bit as Tyler strikes out looking, and the inning ends. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 left. After 6, it remains Oilmen 3, Joliet 2 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back for the 7th inning. It's 3-2 in favor of the Oilmen, as the Oilmen threatened in the last half inning, but nice job by Schwab to get out of the inning without a run across.
He's really using his velocity and mixing it up with his curveball and a couple bloop hits and picks someone off, which helps save him a bit, but he gets out of the inning, and still a one-run game, anyone's game here, late at Oil City Stadium. Nobody is surprised.
Here's a bunt and a miss, and the count, no balls and one strike here. I believe he efforted at this one as Muha stands in. Yeah, it seems like so many games here especially and really across the league have been close ball games this season. Low and outside for a ball. In the standings, there are some gaps between the teams, but in terms of the games themselves, everything has been close in the league this year, more so than I recall. This is low and outside, ball 2.
Yeah, it's been a really fun year with a bunch of close games, high, low-scoring games. We've had a variety of different games, and I didn't think I'd see a 20-plus run game by each team this year, but it did happen.
And look out on a 3-1 hit by a pitch here is the batter Muha, and he'll take his base to lead off this 7th inning. So he's on base for the first time today, a leadoff base runner of the painful variety to begin the 7th for Joliet as they trail by a run.
Yeah, big leadoff runner aboard. They've had runners with 1 and 2 outs the past few innings, but a leadoff runner aboard with the lefty on righty matchup, and the righty being Michael Gould, and this is a good opportunity for the Generals to get right back in it. I'm just about to point how important that bat was for Muha, and he wins the battle.
Here's the first pitch, low and inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Gould. The Oilmen scored twice in the first. Joliet tied it with 2 in the 5th. The Oilmen won in the bottom of the 5th to take the lead. Here's strike 1 called, 1-1. Three-2 Oilmen as we play inning number 7. Here's a pickoff move. But Zarnecki, the unique trick of being picked off twice in a game, so he's now the first baseman holding the runner on, hoping to be on the other end of that.
Yeah, unique, a.k.a. bad base running.
Here comes the 1-1. This is low and in for a ball. Yeah, trick was kind of the best euphemism I could come up with. But no, he was just caught leaning the wrong way 2 different times, and you always want to be aggressive, but occasionally being aggressive does come with some risk as well. Here's the 2-1. This is high for a ball, 3-1.
And this is one guy you don't want to be behind, and you're either forced to throw a pitch in the zone or first and second with no outs, but you do have the lefty Fisher on deck, but you probably got to attack Gould here.
3-1 on Gould. It's taken high for ball 4. So a hit batter and a walk from Seropian begin this inning, and now there's runners at first and second with nobody out here in the 7th.
And this is out. And here with Fisher, Seropian has got to get. He has the lefty-on-lefty matchup. And with Vincent on deck, you want to at least have an out on the board. I love a ground ball double play.
Two on, nobody out. Here's the pitch from Seropian. It's outside for a ball. Again, a compelling story for Seropian. This summer was his first game that he's pitched in over a year after that serious injury that we talked about. In fact, his last action before these last few games with the Oilmen was with the Southland Vikings a year ago, and he was shut down mid-season with the injury. So it's been a long road back, and you know, for him, this is just special to even be on the mound. And the rest of the summer is all about getting back up to speed. 1 ball, no strikes on Fisher. This is way outside for a ball, 2-0.
Yeah, and you talk about not pitching for a year as we see a meeting on the mound. I mean, usually when pitchers are off, you know, a couple weeks without throwing, they look completely different. But a year, you know, transforming maybe even how you throw the ball, it's really difficult to come back and face hitters. We talk about how hard hitting is, but hitting sometimes you can get back into the groove. You know, pitching, you still need to be able to throw strikes and throw good pitches. And that's sometimes what people struggle with, especially after a long absence from baseball.
2 balls and no strikes on Fisher. Yeah, you're right. It's one of those things where when you're a pitcher, you want to stay active in the game. Baseball is a day-in, day-out type game. You want to be playing every day. The 2-0 is a strike. Whether you're a pitcher or position player, to be involved in the game on a daily basis is so important. So when you have to be out for an extended period of time, it can be a little bit tough to reacclimate yourself. Here's a 2-1. This is high for ball 3, 3-1.
And you got to find a way to throw a strike to Fisher here. Don't want to load the bases.
3 balls and a strike. Runners take their leads from first and second. Joliet in a low scorer tonight after last night's 23-20 victory over Crestwood. Here comes the 3-1. This is taken for strike 2 call. We go full at 3-2.
Yeah, and Brennan Fisher's got to be wondering if he has to swing at that pitch, it's really going to be hard to catch up with, and now the count is full.
3-2 Oilmen. 3-2 the count. Runners take their leads, nobody out. Here's the payoff. This is swung on and lifted foul. A good battle here. We'll do it again.
And if you're Seropian, you throw it in the same spot. He did it there, and Fisher is forced to swing at a pitch that is sort of borderline, but you really can't take strike 3 looking. So now he's, you know, even though it's a full count, he's in the driver's seat because he's had that outside pitch working against the lefty Fisher.
3-2 Oilmen. Top of inning number 7. On Police and Fire Night in front of a very good audience at the OC. The 3-2 is a check swing. It's ball 4. This one just misses. And the bases are full here. A hit batter and then back-to-back walks. 3 straight free passes begin the 7th inning. And the Oilman bullpen has been a little bit taxed of late, but they're going to get Jake Paymaster up here in this spot.
Yeah, that was a big pitch there. I thought that might have been called strike 3, but that one I think was just a little more outside, although a very close pitch to take. And now Bryce Vincent's up with the bases loaded.
Corners are in, middle infield at normal depth. This is high for a ball. They're looking for something they can turn. They would trade 2 outs for the tying run here in the top of the 7th inning. Nobody out in this inning, and there's nowhere to put Vincent. The 1-0. It's ball 2 high. 2 balls and no strikes. And now the Oilman bullpen will stay active with a little more urgency down that right field line. We saw Paymaster head down there. And I believe might have been Nekraz as well. The 2-0 outside for ball 3. There is nowhere to put Vincent, and Seropian has lost his control in this inning.
Yeah, and bases loaded, no outs, and 3-0 count. You would think this is a red light situation for Vincent, but knowing Joliet, if a pitch is there to swing at, he probably will hit it.
3-0 is high for ball 4, and this drives in a run. 3-3 the score now as the Joliet Generals tie the game. 4 straight free passes, and Seropian walks in a run. Here comes Adam Enright to the mound, and this ball game is now even at 3.
Yeah, and the pouring at bat was Muha, was the leadoff runner aboard in the hit by pitch. And also, it's the lefty-on-lefty matchup that you really lose. Is he's faced 2 lefties, and he's walked both of them. He's walked all 4 batters this inning. And as a lefty, you have a clear, distinct advantage against a lot of the lefty hitters of Joliet. And that might be the question if Enright leaves him in to face Biggers.
Yeah, I don't know that the bullpen is ready at this point. It seemed like they just started warming up, and slowly but surely, Luigi Guerrero, well, I was going to say will make his way to the mound to move things along, but he has yet to do so, and this conversation has gone on and on.
Yeah, I wonder what the timer is for him.
I mean, it's kind of subjective. You can let them have however long they want, and Adam Enright was about to stay out there a good 5 minutes because the bullpen just got up, and he wants to get somebody warm in a hurry in this spot. Seropian again. And also, not only was he buying time, but I think he really had some wisdom to impart upon him, whatever exactly it was. Seropian, a guy who's trying to get back. He worked a solid inning in the 6th inning, but has battled control problems in this inning. But again, when you're coming off an injury and you haven't pitched for a long time, it takes some time. First pitch swinging. Here's the ball lifted in the air, foul off to the left, and out of play as youngsters will chase after it onto the stadium concourse.
Yeah, and Seropian is really falling behind every batter in this inning. That time he gets Biggers to fall off the first pitch that was in the zone. And that's so important for a pitcher's confidence, especially after quite a few walks, is getting that first strike, getting ahead, and you being in control of that bat.
Ball game tied at 3. Run scoring walk for Vincent a moment ago. Now strike 2 called. Whatever Adam Enright said seems to have worked so far as Seropian is ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Vincent a moment ago his 2nd RBI of the day and his 24th of the season with that bases loaded walk. It ties this game at 3 here in the 7th. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the left and out of play. We'll do it again at 0-2.
Yeah, I have to wonder what Adam Enright said to Seropian, because really every pitch has now been thrown for a strike. And boy, would this be something if he's able to get out of this without any more damage. Usually 4 walks end up with a lot of runs, but still no outs in this inning.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go to get out of it, but this is a good start to have attacked the zone coming out of that mound meeting. Dino Biggers is 0 for 3. Here's the 2-strike pitch. This is just outside for a ball, and it's 1-2. Runners take their leads from all 3 stations. 3-3 the score as we play inning number 7. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. This is taken high for a ball, and the count goes even at 2-2.
And Seropian really looking for a strikeout. He could use one. It's Caraway on deck.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the break-even swing and a miss. He got that strikeout that Adam was alluding to. Biggers is not pleased as he swings and misses, and that is out number 1. Biggers now 0 for 4 and a big-time strikeout for Chris Seropian.
Yeah, breaking ball got him out ahead of it. And a big strikeout keeps the runners put, and now you're just a double play away from getting out of the inning. Though with that possible double play comes the power of DeShante Caraway's bat.
Base is full of Gens. Here's the first pitch to Caraway, taken high for a ball, 1-0. The infield, of course, looking for a double play at this time, with now 1 out in the inning, and a chance for a twin killing to get the Oilmen out of this without further damage. 1-0, high for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes.
And Seropian's missed away to a lot of righty batters, and missed inside of Muha, and it hit him, and missed outside of Fisher as well.
2-0, high and outside, ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Good audience of young kids. Friday nights tend to be very good crowds here at Oil City Stadium. Here comes the 3-0. Taken for a strike call. He had to put one in there, and he did, and it's 3-1. And those youngsters are trying to root hard for Chris Seropian right here. Here comes the 3-1. Swing and a miss, and now we go full at 3-2. Big payoff pitch coming up.
Yeah, big pitch, and Caraway asking, I'm assuming if that was a strike. I think that might have been outside, but it's full.
And the payoff. This is swung on and lifted in the air. This may be deep enough. Hedrick's under it. This should score the run. He will make the catch. Tagging at third is Gould. Here comes the throw. It's going to go all the way into the plate, but it's fielded by the catcher halfway between the mound and the plate, and Gould comes in and scores the go-ahead run. Joliet has taken the lead as the wildness comes back to haunt the Oilmen in this inning. It's a sacrifice fly for Caraway, his 20th RBI of the year, out number 2 in the inning, but now it's 4-3 in favor of Joliet.
Yeah, and still, I think the Oilmen will be happy only being down to 1.
Here's a ball that's popped up down the first base line. This is going to be no play. Sliding for it is Zarnecki, and the count is 0-1. Dupuis standing in with a count of 0-1. The key here, Adam, is to try to get out of it without any further damage.
Yeah, that was a close one, almost in fair territory, and a tough hitter to get out in Dupuis. Don't want to get the top of the lineup up again in this inning.
0-1, 2 outs. Here comes the pitch on the way. This is taken low and in for a ball. 1-1.
And the thing to keep in mind for the Oilmen is not a ton of speed on second with Fisher, but although 2 outs, he's going to be running on anything, so it'll be interesting to see if he scores if it gets to the outfield.
Here's a little number along first, foul, and the count remains, or I should say moves to 1-2. (4-3) the score in favor of Joliet. You know the Oilmen have the ability to score runs late in games. And so I think if you're Joliet, you'd love to keep tacking on here.
Absolutely, and it looks like Ashton Shaw is done, so I believe he's the first base coach. And it'll be interesting to see who they bring out of the pen.
Yes, his helmet is a bit large. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch, swinging a grounder foul left side. Don't think that was a fitted helmet that he's wearing at first.
Yeah, I actually wore that helmet yesterday. It's Brennan Fisher's construction helmet, or something like that. I don't fact check me on it, but yeah, it was big on my head, so.
I was not planning. How exactly would I fact check that? Follow the helmet after the game to see if it was used for construction? 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners take their leads at first and second. It's Vincent at first and Fisher at second. Here's the 1-2. This is swung on and lifted in the air. It's going to be Baker underneath it. He gloves it, and the inning ends. But not before some damage done, as the Generals score twice to take the lead. They do it on no hits and leave 2. It's time to stretch at the OC. They'll play God Bless America, and then we'll have the stretch, and we'll come back after all this with the bottom of the 7th. It's the Generals 4 and the Oilmen 3 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back at Oil City Stadium as we are in the middle of inning number 7 here. It's 4-3 in favor of Joliet as we get set for the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the bottom of the 7th will commence here momentarily. By the way, we're going to have a pinch hitter to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. It's going to be Mike Morales to bat for the Oilmen. Morales will bat in the spot that was occupied by Ostrowski. So he's today wearing number 25. It might not have been his number throughout the season, but it will be today. And Morales will bat to begin this bottom of the 7th inning. So it's 4-3 Generals, and we'll have the 7th inning underway here very, very shortly, with Joliet having taken the lead in the top of this inning. So again, a pinch batter here and a new batter into the game is Mike Morales will lead off the inning for the Oilmen. And we also have a new pitcher on the mound. Adam?
Yeah, it's Matt Dinkle, the hard-throwing right-hander. Fortunately picked up the loss in his last start, pitching inning. 3 runs, all earned, and 2 hits and 3 walks. So he's really struggled with location. But we'll see if he can rebound tonight. Also, Will James in the pen, who also had a loss in his last appearance.
So it is Matt Dinkle in to pitch for the Generals. There's the first pitch to Morales. It's taken for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Here comes the set and the 1-0. It's taken high for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. So you can close the book on Schwab. He goes an inning and a third. He allows 2 hits, no runs. He struck out 2 and walked none. Here's a 2-0, swing and a miss, and the count 2 balls and a strike on Morales.
And Dinkle does throw a really hard fastball that actually touched 90 at Marion Catholic, but it's all about location for him and most of the Generals bullpen.
Here's the 2-1, swing and a miss, and the count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and Morales is way late on that pitch. I think Dinkle goes right back to it here with 2 strikes.
2-2, 4-3 Joliet. The Oilmen find themselves trailing late. Here's a smash foul, and it remains 2-2.
That ball had some good exit velocity on it, but it was way late on that pitch. Not sure how he hit that so hard.
Here's the set and the 2-2. This is taken outside for a ball. We go full now at 3-2. Leadoff base runner would be huge for the Oilmen in this spot.
Yeah, especially with the top of the order on deck. And Chris Baker.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch. It's taken high for ball 4. So a leadoff walk does set the stage for the top of the Oilman order. You really wanted to avoid a walk in that spot.
Yeah, 10 walks and 10 strikeouts and 7 1/3 this year for Matt Dinkle. And now you have to face the top of the lineup, and Baker, a guy who really doesn't swing at a lot of bad pitches. You're going to have to find a way to get him out.
4-3 in favor of the Generals as we play inning number 7. Here's the pitch taken for a strike by Baker, and it's 0-1. Hunter at first, Morales. Here's the 0-1 on the way. It's taken high for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. 4-3 in favor of Joliet after they scored twice in the top of the 7th to take the lead. The free passes came back to hurt the Oilmen as there was a hit batter and 3 walks. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a foul back to the screen, and it's 1-2. Joliet doing the damage on no hits. For the game, they have 4 runs, 5 hits, and 4 errors. An unusual looking line score. 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Oilmen. Here's the Dinkle's set and out time call as Baker backs away. A lot of lawn chairs on the berm area tonight. A lot of kids peering into the Joliet bullpen down the left field line. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball outside for ball 2. We go even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And if you're Dinkle, you want to go for that chase pitch there, but at the same time, when you don't always have command of the zone, or he struggled with it this year, you got to just stay attacking batters even with 2 strikes, because then suddenly the count could run full, and it's 2-2 here.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count on Baker. Here's the break-even pitch. This is low and inside for ball 3. Wild pitch, and advancing to second safely is Morales.
Once again, a couple of chase pitches, and now it's 3-2, and you surely got to attack Baker.
3 balls and 2 strikes, as Adam mentioned, and a payoff pitch coming up. Baker could tie the game with a base hit now, as Morales has scampered to second base and moved into scoring position with nobody out. Here's Dinkle coming set. The righties 3-2 to Baker. Swing and a miss, strike three. Baker hitting .359, one of the best hitters in the Oilmen lineup, but he has struck out 3 times, and he's 0 for 4 today, and he's the first out of the 7th inning.
Yeah, what a gutsy pitch there by Dinkle, but that's what you have to do. Throw a fastball in the middle of the plate, and Caro is able to squeeze it. That was a big strikeout.
Now Kane Hedrick standing in. Here's the pitch on the way. This is taken low and in for a ball, and the count 1-0.
And a lot of times, especially as a reliever, when you're looking so hard at the runner on second, it can sometimes throw you off. Morales, Dinkle was looking at him for a good bit and then turned and fired, and the pitch was way off the mark and inside.
1 ball, no strikes. The count on Schwa, or on, I should say, Hedrick, and he takes high for a ball. Count 2-0. Another close contest. No surprise here. The final game of the homestand is tomorrow, by the way. Tell you about that in a moment. Here's a spin around, but no pickoff throw. Just looking the runner back with a fake throw is the pitcher Dinkle.
A smart play not to risk that throw and have it go past the second baseman Dupuis.
Here's a 2-0. High for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Let's tell you about tomorrow night. It is Superhero Night here at Oil City Stadium, as it will be a chance to dress up as your favorite superhero when you come on out to the game tomorrow. Here comes the set and the 3-0 pitch. Taking all the way and looking at a strike is Hedrick, and the count 3-1. You have a favorite superhero, Adam, that you're going to dress up as tomorrow night, even though the Generals will not be here tomorrow night?
I was thinking, obviously there's Superman, Batman. There's also Brandon Vickery, superhero to my left.
I've never really heard it put that way. Here comes the 3-1. Swing and a miss, and the count goes full at 3-2. How exactly would the wardrobe look, or what would be the costume?
Well, I guess
dare I ask?
It would have to be a Northwest Indiana Oilman shirt, but I'm not sure how else, but
3-2 on Hedrick. The answer could have been a lot worse. Here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Hedrick is out on strikes, and Oilmen will hope for some sort of heroics as David Marshall stands in.
Yeah, but going more back towards the game, that was a big strikeout after Dinkle was down 3-0, and you're forced to throw pitches in the zone, and he was able to do it 3 consecutive times. But that really shows the stuff that Dinkle has. It's just, can he find that zone consistently?
Here comes the pitch taken for a strike. Now, the promo tomorrow night, anyone who dresses as their favorite superhero gets in free and has a chance to win Oilman prizes, and they get to go on the field before the game. So I don't know who will be the judge if someone says they're dressed like me as the superhero. Here comes the 0-1. Taken low for a ball. I mean, would just a polo be enough to get you in for free if you say you're dressed like the voice of the Oilman?
Well, I guess if the shirts aren't available online and you find a way to get one, I mean, that could qualify. I'm not saying it will, but it could.
Have to make sure I lock my doors tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. The count on Marshall. Lead at second for Morales. Here comes the 1-1. This is low and in for a ball, 2-1. Chance to be on the field before the game. Win Oilman prizes and get in free if you dress like your favorite superhero tomorrow night. 2 outs, runner on second base, tying run at second. Here comes the 2-1 to Marshall. Swing and a miss, and it goes to 2-2. It'll be a 6:10 first pitch. 6 o'clock pregame. Josh and I will have it for you as the Oilmen host the Crestwood Panthers. 2-2, 2 outs, 4-3 Generals. Here comes the break even. Swing and a foul at the plate. And then the Oilmen will be on the road for a game on Monday before returning to Oil City Stadium to host the Vikings on Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's look at next week. A road heavy week. They're at the Panthers on Monday and Wednesday, at the Corn Dogs on Saturday, off on Friday. Here comes the 2-2, swinging a line drive foul. But I'm going to have some games off here coming up. Leo will have it for you all of next week, and I'll be back after about 10 days off or so for the final homestand. Believe it or not, will be my next game after tomorrow night. 2-2, 2 outs. Let's see if Marshall can come through. Morales the lead at second. 1-run game, 7th inning. Here's the 2-2. Swinging a foul at the plate. It remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Marshall just battling off tough pitches. That one, a low curveball. He fought off a fastball inside and looking for something to hit with 2 outs. And this has been quite the long battle between a hard-throwing reliever, Dinkle, and a great hitter in Marshall.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swinging a foul again. We'll do it again at 2-2.
You can feel as this battle goes on longer, Marshall's catching up to that velocity. That one he was right on. And that's why a lot of times, besides the pitch count, that relievers don't go a long time because the velocity is usually their best attribute in most cases.
Here's another 2-2 pitch from Dinkle to Marshall. It's low and in for ball 3, and we go full at 3-2. A payoff pitch is upcoming.
Yeah, first base open, but then you put the tying run aboard, so a big pitcher, many, depending on what happens here.
3-2 on Marshall, and the payoff once again. Great battle here with the tying run at second. Swung on and cracked to right. This is going to get down for a base hit. Around third, Morales. He gets the green light. There could be a play. Here's Muha's throw. He slides. He scores. This game is tied at 4. Run scoring single, David Marshall, as he shoots one into right. Scoring from second base is Morales, and the Oilmen have tied the game. It's Northwest Indiana 4 and Joliet 4.
And Marshall didn't hit that ball exactly well, but that's what happens when you see a lot of pitches, and he stayed on it. Even though it wasn't hit particularly sharp and just over the first baseman Fisher's head. And a lot of times those walks come back to bite you. And that's what it did there for Dinkle.
Big 2-out hit after a great battle by David Marshall. The at-bat of the night turns into the game-tying hit. And Z-Big takes high for ball 1.
Yeah, 9-pitch at-bats. Don't see that every day.
1 ball and no strikes. The count on Z-Big. Swinging a foul at the plate, and the count 1-1.
And the Oilmen, or the Generals rather, now looking back that the game is tied, that they had bases loaded, no outs, and pushed that one across on the walk, but then just got one more after that, and thinking, boy, they needed some more insurance with this good Oilmen offense.
Here comes the 1-1. This is high and outside for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike on Z-Big. 4-4 game as we play bottom of inning number 7. We are back to even. The Oilmen scored twice in the first. Joliet tied it with 2 in the 5th. The Oilmen went up 3-2. Then Joliet took a 4-3 lead. Now it's 4-4. Back and forth we go. This is high for ball 3. It goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. Many of the fans have hung around, and they're into it here at the OC. Here's the 3-1. This is taken outside for ball 4 as Z-Big works a walk. And now the inning continues for Kyle Zarnecki.
And the numbers from Dinkle really match up to what we're seeing here today. He's got power in a lot of his pitches, which are the 2 outs or the 2 strikeouts. And then he struggled with the walks. 2 walks this inning and a wild pitch. That's kind of the year it's been for some of the Generals relievers, but still a tie game, an opportunity to get out of this inning, just giving up the 1.
Big spot here as Zarnecki steps in. He has 2 hits today. And this is taken high for a ball. Count 1 ball and no strikes. He would love a third in this spot. Drove in a run with a ground ball in the first inning as well. Was picked off twice as we talked about. The 1-0 taken for a strike and the count 1-1. Can he come through with 2 away? A wild pitch was huge. That set up Marshall's base hit with the runner at second base, allowing him to score on that base knock to right. And then a walk, and now runners at first and second. Here's the 1-1, and look out. This is a fastball high and in, ducking out of the way is Zarnecki as it goes to 2-1.
Yeah, that wild pitch was a really big play. And instead of forcing Morales to try to steal second or get hit over to second, he's able to score on the single by Marshall.
Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss, and the count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and 2 on. Zarnecki trying to drive in the go-ahead run. Here's a 2-2 pitch. It's taken outside, and in this inning, as it's been a battle all inning between the Dinkle and the Oilmen hitters, you know we'd go full at 3-2, and it's head start time for both runners.
Yeah, and I don't think Curcio was expecting that pitch outside. Otherwise, I think he should have set up outside, and he might have gotten that strike 3 call.
Here comes the payoff. Swing and a foul, and the battle continues.
We have had a lot of full count pitches tonight, and it seemed like a lot of the Oilmen hitters have been the walks that the Generals have come rather easy. The Oilmen walks have been hard, almost every single one of them.
3-2. Here's the pitch, swinging a line drive to left. This ball is going to get down for a base hit. Round third, and scoring the go-ahead run will be Marshall as the throw comes in. Marshall scores on the single by Zarnecki, as laying out for it was Stote, but he could not make the catch. Marshall comes in and scores, going to third Z-Big, and the Oilmen have taken the lead. They lead Joliet by a score of 5-4.
And that's what happens when you walk batters. You allow that kind of contact to score runs. It was a well-hit ball, but if you're Dinkle, you put walks on base, and it's a lot of times what happens.
For Zarnecki, it's RBI number 23 and his second of the game as he comes through. Here's a pitch taken low and in for a ball, 1-0. Good effort by Stote, but no play.
Yeah, it was a good effort to not let that one go by him, because that would have tacked down another run, but Dinkle's really working into some long counts where he hasn't been ahead, and then you're forced to throw something in the middle of the plate, and the hitter knows that.
Conniff swings and fouls it right side, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
I will say, I don't think anyone's surprised that this has been a seesaw battle with the Generals taking the lead in the top of this inning, and the Oilmen the bottom.
I always keep a note of who the... We'll get to this here after this 1-1 pitch, taken high for a ball. I keep a note in my book of who, at a certain moment in the game, is the winning or losing pitcher, and I've had to change that numerous times already in this one. We've had guys go from the loss to the win. That's where Seropian is right now. Now, of course, it's Dinkle at this moment on the hook for the loss. Here's the 2-1. This is taken outside for a ball. It's 3-1.
And you can see Dinkle's a bit frustrated on the mound, but you're never really going to get that call when Caraway's reaching all the way across his body into the other batter's box.
Runner goes. Here's the 3-1 outside for ball 4, and a run's going to score, and then going to third, and doing so safely is going to be the runner from first, Zarnecki. So some confusion here as a run comes in and scores, and now going all the way to third on the play is Zarnecki. So here's the scoring. It's a stolen base for Zarnecki because he was in motion, and then a wild pitch allows the run to score, and going to third on that same wild pitch is Zarnecki. It's now 6-4. Here's the pitch to Conniff, and it's swung on and fouled, and we go full at 3-2.
But like I mentioned about Dinkle's composure, that was about a 90% chance of that one being a wild pitch, and it got by Caraway, and it scored the go-ahead run, or rather insurance run.
Here comes the 3-2. This is taken for strike 3 called, and the inning ends. But not before big-time damage done, as the Oilmen get 3 runs in the inning. They do it on 2 hits and leave 1. We go to the 8th, 6-4 Oilmen on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me hear Lando Frost. Premium meat. Delicious. And no byproducts.
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Lando Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost Premium Meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Back here at Oil City Stadium, we go to the 8th inning, 6-4 in favor of the Oilmen. 6 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for the Oilmen. 4 runs, 5 hits, and 4 errors for Joliet to this point. Jake Paymaster is completing his warm-up tosses, and we get set for inning number 8. So it'll be Stote to lead off for Joliet, 9-1-2 due for the Generals in this inning as we get set for the 8th frame. 6-4 in favor of the Oilmen as we get set to move to the 8th in just a moment. There's a new pitcher on the mound. Jake Paymaster is in. You can close the book on Seropian, who ends up in position for the win. He goes 2 innings, and he allows 2 hits, and he permitted 2 Joliet runs that came in that last half inning, as that made it a 4-3 General lead. He was momentarily on the hook for the loss, but then the Oilmen rallied for 3 in the bottom of the 7th, and now Seropian at this moment is in position for the win as he exits the ball game. Back and forth we go, and there's 2 innings remaining. Adam, and in this one, that's a long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely, and really in the bottom of the 7th inning, it's how the Generals have lost quite a few games this year is the walks, and with a good hitting team like the Oilmen, you give them chances with runners on, even with a hard-throwing pitcher. Any blue pit that gets down, and especially with 2 outs, everyone running is going to score someone.
So it'll be Stote standing in here to lead off the 8th inning. 6-4 in favor of the Oilmen. Here's the set from Jake Paymaster. The left-hander delivers. It's taken for a strike, and the count 0-1.
And a big out here to try to get Stoke before the top of the lineup is up again. That's how Joliet get their last rally started. They got a leadoff runner on board, and top of the order did some damage.
0-1 to Stote. Taken high for a ball, 1-1. 6-4 Oilmen as we play inning number 8. Clutch hitting for the Oilmen with 2 outs in that last half inning. Huge hits by Marshall and Zarnecki. Here comes the 1-1. This is high and outside, 2-1. It was refreshing for the Oilmen offense. They earned it in that inning. The 2 runs in the first were handed to them. They did get 1 in the 5th, but to earn 3 runs in that bottom of the 7th made you feel a lot better about the Oilmen offense at this moment. Here comes the 2-1. This is swinging a foul, and the count is 2-2.
Yeah, none of those walks were easy that they drew. It was a lot of long at-bats that went to 3-2 and fouling off a couple tough pitches. The one that comes to mind is that Marshall at-bat. I believe that was the go-ahead hit. or maybe the tying hit. But either way, it was a long battle, and he kept getting closer and closer to putting it in play. And he finally got a pitch he could hit and sent into right field.
Yeah, with 2 outs, that tied the game at 4, and it extended the inning, and the Oilmen eventually took the lead. Here's the 2-2 to Stote, taking low for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
And that insurance run was also important because that way one swing of the bat can't tie it up. Or one runner on and they try to take second, and then you have a runner in scoring position.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch. Taken low and in for ball 4. It's a leadoff walk. So that was a big payoff pitch. You did not want to issue a leadoff walk to the 9-hitter, and that sets the stage for the top of the Joliet order.
Yeah, especially when he had him 1-2 and a couple pitches in the dirt and that one inside, none of which would tempt a hitter to swing at, which is probably the most frustrating part for Paymaster.
Now it's Munoz. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt. This gets away, and advancing to second safely is going to be Stote.
And exactly why the insurance run was important. So now the Generals can't just hit 2 ground balls or a ground ball and a fly ball and get Stote to score, because they would still be down 1. So instead they have a different strategy that not only do they want to try and tie the game, they're going to have to do it by hitting.
Now Adam Enright coming out here, and we have a fairly heated discussion with Luigi Guerrero.
Yeah, I think it was whether or not Munoz pulled the bunt back fast enough. I thought he did, and usually you feel like if the hitter makes an attempt to pull it back, they usually get the benefit of the doubt in most cases.
Now Adam Enright's yelling out toward Mike Clay, and Adam's trying to get his attention here as play's ready to continue, but Adam Enright is halfway out onto the field, and now here he comes. So I think you're right, Adam, in what you observed here. And Adam Enright's now talking with Mike Clay about that exact topic.
Yeah, and he is hot there, and usually you can see is when they get closer to the umpire, they're, not just talking about a call friendly. There's an argument. But it was a really important play. Although the runner would have advanced to second anyways, it would have been a strike. Instead, it's 1-0 on Munoz.
Yeah, Adam was rather heated, maybe as heated as we've seen him this season. But the Oilmen lead 6-4. That's the good news as we play inning number 8. Here comes the 1-0. This is taken for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Nobody out here in the 8th inning. Paymaster falling behind 2-0. Here's the 2-0. This is taken high for ball 3. 3-0.
And the Oilmen's rally was started by walks in the bottom of the 7th. The Generals rally was started with walks in the top of the 7th, or rather bottom of the 7th for the Oilmen, top of the 7th for Generals, and we'll see what happens here.
This is taken for a strike call. Count 3-1. So 3 balls and a strike on Munoz. Runner at second base. Paymaster trying to battle back after falling behind 3-0. Now it's 3-1. This is taken outside for ball 4. Back-to-back walks to begin this 8th inning.
Yeah, that's really been the story these last few innings. And some clutch Oilmen hitting as well mixed in. But it's been the walks that have set up a lot of things. And Generals here looking to climb their way back in and not just looking for, 1 or 2. Probably looking for quite a few runs.
Here comes the first pitch, swing and a miss, and the count 0-1.
And Muha was late on that fastball. And looking to get ahead of Muha and have a bit more control of that bat.
It's the 0-1 inside for a ball. It evens at 1-1. The Corn Dogs lead the Giants 12-1 in the 8th, I'm told. One ball, one strike on Muha. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a line drive foul. Lake County has just been such a force. One of the more dominant teams we've seen in this league down through the years.
And it was important for Joliet. They, I think, lost the first 4 or 5 against the Corn Dogs, but beat them 2 times at their place, including a miraculous comeback for their first one of the season against the Corn Dogs. And they're right now scheduled to match up against them, but this game has a lot of impact on that.
1-2, low and outside, 2-2. Yeah, the Corn Dogs now, Adam, have won 10 of their last 12 games, and the 2 losses in that 12-game stretch, both coming to Joliet.
Yeah, well, you need a team that hits well against the Corn Dogs, and the Generals have hit well in those games and pitched well enough as well. Haven't walked a ton of batters.
Here's the 2-2. This is swinging a foul, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now this might be the battle that determines how this inning goes, whether if Paymaster can get the out or if Muha can put a ball in play for a hit, draw a walk, and that's how the Oilmen inning unfolded in the bottom of the 7th. Was a lot of long at-bats that they won.
Here's the 2-2. Taken low and outside for a ball. We go full at 3-2.
And a really big pitch here with Gould on deck, who's really hit the ball well today, as he usually does.
3 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Muha. Here comes the big payoff pitch. This is taken for strike 3 called. Muha is caught looking for the first out of the 8th inning.
That's a tough pitch to hit on the inside part of the plate, but certainly a strike there and a big first out. And I'm wondering if with Zebig playing so far back, we might see a bunt by Gould. Obviously, you like his hitting ability, but feel like anything that can hit the grass just well enough will be almost certainly a hit.
We'll see. Here's the pitch, way outside for a ball. Nice job by Conniff from preventing this one from getting to the backstop.
Yeah, that would have put 2 runners on in the tying run in scoring position. But also keep in mind, with Fisher a lefty on deck, it's tough to try to get on base with a bunt and then leave the lefty-lefty matchup.
1-0, taken high for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Paymaster falling behind again. He was able to get Muha looking on a payoff pitch a moment ago, but he walked back-to-back batters to begin this top of the 8th inning. Oilmen 6, Generals 4 as we play inning number 8. Here comes the 2-0. This is swung on and cracked to left center on his horse Baker. All the way back. He's not going to get there, as this one is going to be up against the BP sign in left center. 1 run in, 2 runs in. Game tied. Here comes the throw to third, and it gets away. Holding at third base with a triple is Michael Gould. Game-tying triple for Michael Gould. The 2 walks come back to haunt the Oilmen. This one nails the BP sign in deep left center. Even the outstanding center fielder Chris Baker had no chance at this one, and this ball game is tied at 6.
And you just had a feeling on a 2-0 pitch. Michael Gould, who loves to swing the bat, who's been hitting the ball well all day, hit one over Baker's head. And his second straight triple, and boy, he is a really dangerous hitter. And has really shown it time and time again. An important play of going to third, and now the Oilmen have to bring the infield in.
Yeah, 2 triples, a single, and a walk for Gould. As Adam mentioned, the infield comes in because he represents the go-ahead run, and there's still only 1 out in this inning. Fisher takes low and outside for ball 1. One ball, no strikes on Fisher. 6-6 tie. We are in the 8th. Just another back-and-forth ball game. Here's the 1-0. Low and outside, 2-0. Some real clutch hitting by the Oilmen in the bottom of the 7th inning, but Joliet has responded as they make Paymaster pay for back-to-back walks that started this inning by virtue of the triple by Gould off the BP sign on a night sponsored by BP here at Oil City Stadium. Here comes the 2-0. Swinging a ground ball to second. Runner's going for home. The throw will be at first, and it's in time. Now the infield's playing in there, and typically the idea is to go to home on that play, but electing to go to first is Tyler, as he saw a good runner Gould had a pretty good jump on it headed toward the plate. Fisher picks up the RBI, and Joliet has taken a 7-6 lead.
That's a great baseball play by Michael Gould. You have to realize when the infield's in, the runner at third Z-Big is farther away from the third base bag. Therefore, you take a bigger secondary. And a ball that wasn't hit really hard on the ground, just soft enough for Gould to slide in safely.
Now the base is clear with 2 outs. Vincent takes ball 1.
But I think a smart play by Tyler to not force it home, because you might see error and then you see Fisher end up at second with 1 out. Instead, the bases are empty and you're facing Vincent with 2 outs.
1 ball, no strikes. Here's a strike call, and the count evens at 1-1. Joliet has scored 5 over the last 2 innings combined. They had 2 over the first 6, but a couple of crooked numbers here in the 7th and 8th innings. They did not score for the first 4 frames against Oilmen starter Jake Ostrowski. The 1-1 low and outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike on Vincent.
And once again, it was the walks that all started. That's why that Stoddard at bat was so important. It was fouled up by the wild pitch. And then a couple more batters were able to reach, and that set up the hit for Gould.
Here comes the 2-1. Swinging a ground ball foul left side, and now the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tyler was playing in on the grass. What are your thoughts there, Adam, on would he have had any chance at home had he gone home on that play?
I think so, but also he was a bit off balance and wasn't exactly facing towards home. So he would have really needed a strong throw off balance, which a lot of times forces an errant throw.
Here's the 2-2. This is a line drive base hit right field. It's on 1 hop in front of Curcio. He throws to first, but not in time, as the right fielder guns it to the first baseman Zarnecki. But Vincent is on base for the 4th time today. He has 3 hits now to go along with a walk.
And a good piece of hitting there by Vincent to take it over the head of Tyler. And the Generals would love some insurance runs. They have a feeling that 1 isn't enough. And then going back to the Tyler play, with your offense hitting the way it has been and the Generals pitching struggling to find the zone, you still have 6 more outs to work with.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a 1-run game, and this is taken for a strike. Since you do have 6 outs left to work with, you understand the idea of getting the runner at first base. But when you bring the infield in, usually it says, hey, we're going to go for broke at the plate here on a ground ball. But if you recognize that you have no chance to get him, obviously you can change course and get the out at first. That's what he chose to do, and it helped minimize the damage perhaps. Here's a strike call that's 0-2. Chance to get out of it with the damage 3 runs in this inning, but the lead only a run. So that play does help in that regard, getting the out and the sure out at first base. 2 outs and 2 strikes. Oilmen trail by a run. We are in the top of the 8th. Here's Paymaster's pitch. This is taken for a ball. The count 1-2 on Dino Biggers, who's 0 for 4 and has struck out twice.
Yeah, the thing about that play is you might have, I would give it about a 30% chance or maybe 20% chance to get the runner at home. But then if you throw it home, you have a higher % chance of an error. You don't get the out at first, and Fisher has a chance to advance to second, which would have scored on that Vincent hit, possibly.
Here's the 1-2, swinging a line drive up the middle, base hit, a ground ball past the pitcher, Paymaster, and a single into center. Back-to-back 2-out hits here from Vincent, and Biggers have put runners at first and second with 2 down, and that'll bring up Caraway.
Yeah, and once again, that's why that out was so important. Sure, you can make the out at home, and boy, that would be a big momentum-changing play, don't get me wrong, but it's the risk because now, obviously, you can't really predict what would happen, but the Generals would have a bunch of runners on with just 1 out.
Adam Enright to the mound here, and he has seen enough. Pitching change coming up. We're going to take a timeout, and we will come back with the continuation of this 8th inning. It's Joliet 7 and the Oilmen 6 in the 8th, and we're back with more in a moment on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Don't go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back here for the continuation of the 8th inning. It's 7-6 in favor of Joliet as we play inning number 8, as the Generals have gone to the bullpen here, and the Oilmen, I should say, have gone to the bullpen here. The Generals have scored 3 times in this inning, and the Oilmen have brought in Jack Nekraz to try to find a way out of this frame. Paymaster's day is done. He lasts 2/3 of an inning here, and right now he's on the hook for the loss. So far, he has allowed 3 runs, and you can't close the book on him yet, as he's still responsible for the runners at first and second. Here comes the set from Nekraz, and the pitch is swung on and lifted in the air to shallow right. Coming in is the right fielder, Curcio, and he makes the catch, and the inning ends. But not before damage done. Nice job, though, to come in and get that out for Nekraz. But Joliet scores 3 times, and they take the lead. We have played 7.5. The new score, Joliet 7 and the Oilmen 6 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back at Oil City Stadium, we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. We've got another tight game late and setting up for perhaps some more late inning drama. We'll see if the Oilmen can rally back. The Generals have thrown the latest punch. They score 3 in the top of this 8th inning to take a 7-6 lead over Northwest Indiana. Will James is the new pitcher for Joliet. Matt Dinkle goes 1 inning. He allows 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He is currently in position for the win after Joliet rallied for 3 in the top of the 8th inning. 7-6 Joliet. Back and forth we go tonight, Adam.
Yeah, and it's not surprising at all. It's the Oilmen, the Generals, so nothing more to say than that. Another close game here. And these matchups have been really exciting, apart from a couple of them that have been Oilmen victories. But besides that, all of them have been 1 or 2 run games going into the last couple of innings. And a guy we've seen here pretty often, Will Janes on the mound.
The Oilmen hold a 5-3 lead in the season series. The best Joliet can hope for is a 5-5 split with the Oilmen, as this is the penultimate matchup between these two teams. The Oilmen will go to Carroll Stream to take on these Generals on August the 1st, and that'll be the final regular season matchup between the two squads. Janes is in, as you heard Adam allude to. He'll face the lower third of the Oilmen order. It's Curcio and Tyler and Morales scheduled to hit. First pitch to Curcio, high and outside for a ball. Adam, what can you tell us about Will Janes?
Well, he pitches a lot against the Oilmen. That's the first thing. It's his 7th appearance of the year against the Oilmen, only 11 total. He struggles with his command sometimes, but has the opportunity for a ton of strikeouts.
Here's the 1-0. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the left, out of play.
Yeah, 19 walks to 17 strikeouts and 15 2/3. And an opportunity here to turn his season around, although it's really just been a couple bad outings that have really upped his ERA.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. This is swung on and popped up. It's going to be a quartet of Generals surrounding it. It's called and squeezed by Vincent for the first out of the inning. So that easily could have turned into a miscommunication, but a nice job by the third baseman Vincent of taking charge, and Curcio is out number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. You could hear him from up here, and he had the right angle to go after that ball on, because he's a righty, and was able to track that ball with his glove hand and made an important first out for Janes.
Oilmen 6 runs on 8 hits, but they trail at 7-6 in the 8th. Kyle Tyler stands in, seeking his first hit of the game. First pitch to him is taken for a strike, and the count 0-1.
And so far, Janes has been sharp. He really struggled in the last outing, picking up the loss, giving up 3 earned runs in 2 innings.
This is inside for a ball, 1-1.
But he's had success against the Oilmen most of this year.
1 ball, 1 strike on Tyler, Adam, as he awaits the 1-1. He checks and takes outside, 2-1.
And a very important game. Just a half game separating these teams from the 4th and 3rd seed.
Yeah, the winner tonight will be in 3rd place in the Northern League. The Oilmen just a half game ahead of Joliet entering play tonight. The loser will be in 4th. Here's the 2-1. This is high for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. And, of course, with how strong the Corn Dogs are, both teams want to avoid having to play the Corn Dogs in that one-and-done elimination game in the semifinals of the Northern League playoffs. So that gives you all the motivation in the world to try to get 3rd.
Yeah, and just the fact that these teams have been competitive the entire year. They faced off in the championship last year, and they're not exactly all smiles.
Here's the 3-1. Low for ball 4. Tyler draws the walk. He's on base for the first time today, and now Morales will come up next.
And here's a big out to try to get Morales out at the bottom of the order, because Baker's up next. Although he struggled today, you prefer you don't get to him with a couple men on. And Janes trying to locate the zone.
One out here, and that'll bring up Morales. Here's a swing and a miss on a pitch in the dirt. Now trying to move up to second base is Tyler. He will. This goes as a wild pitch. So it's a swing and a miss by Morales, but the wild pitch moves Tyler to second base, and he's now in scoring position, and a base hit could tie this game.
Yeah, important play there for the Oilmen to just anything that drops in the outfield has a chance to score the game-tying run here in the 8th.
Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and fouled at the plate. A pitch low. Morales went after it and got a piece, and the count now 0-2.
Yeah, he's got Morales to chase 2 pitches out of the zone. Now, you might want to go there for strike 3, but what you're also risking is Tyler moving up to 3rd if it does get by Caraway, and also drop 3rd strike.
0-2 on Morales. This is one of those games where you look up and you're like, how did the Generals have 7 runs? Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A big strikeout there for the second out of the inning. And the inning will rest on the shoulders of Chris Baker. But Joliet with just 6 hits. The Oilmen pitching has done a fairly good job. They haven't walked a ton today, and the Oilmen have committed just 1 error. It's Joliet that's made 4 errors, and yet somehow it adds up to a 7-6 lead for the Generals.
And that's why that bottom of the first inning was so big to get out of. 3 errors the Generals had, and you only give up 2 runs if you're Cooper Avery.
Swing and a miss, but it's been timely hits for Joliet, and that's been the key. The big 2-run triple by Gould. They've had hits with men on base. When they've had opportunities, they've taken advantage. They've driven in runs with ground balls and things of that nature to take advantage of their scoring chances. Here's the 0-1. Taken for strike 2 call, and it's 0-2. This is a big spot right here. You have the talented Chris Baker, who is having a rough day. He's 0 for 4 and has struck out 3 times, trying to come through and tie this game with a 2-out base hit. The lead at second for Tyler, and here's the 2-strike pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul out of play left side. It remains 0-2.
And how Baker has really hurt the Generals. He's gone ahead in a lot of counts, and that's drawn walks. That's drawn a bunch of hits that have been hit well. And today it feels like every single at-bat he's been behind 0-2 or 1-2, and that's really tough against a lot of these Generals pitchers.
2 outs and 2 strikes. Baker fouled off one a moment ago. Now the 2-strike pitch again way high and outside. Count 1-2. Of course, you try to get a hitter to chase with 2 strikes, but Baker's not going to swing at something that far high and outside, and it goes to 1-2. Janes comes back. Tying run at second, bottom of the 8th. This is taken for strike 3 call. The runner was in motion with that 1-2 pitch, and Baker is caught looking, and he's out on strikes for the 4th time today. No runs, no hits, and 1 left for the Oilmen in the 8th. We go to the 9th. Generals 7, Oilmen 6 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Jack Nekraz continues on the mound here for the Oilmen. He came on and got a big out to limit the damage to 3 runs in the 8th inning, but Joliet still holds a 7-6 lead as we take it to the 9th inning. And there have been a lot of deep counts, a lot of scoring chances on both sides, and Janes survives that last one, Adam, by working out of the 8th inning without allowing a run.
And the key for him is location. If he can get it in there, he's looked sharp, and boy, this feels a lot like the Oilman game yesterday, at least in terms of how the score looks. The Corn Dogs were up 1 run, 9-8, and they were able to tack on those 2 important runs. Joliet is trying to do the same here, just up by that slim 1 run, except the team on top has 4 errors as compared to yesterday where the Oilmen were down going into the 9th with 6 errors.
As it'll be the 9th inning set to commence, it'll be 8-9-1 for Joliet here in this 9th. 7-6 in favor of the Generals. This is taken outside for ball 1, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. The game about 3 hours and 11 minutes old. This is taken inside for a ball 2-0. Again, it's an early start tomorrow night. We'll have a 6:10 first pitch. We go on the air at 6 o'clock. Josh is going to be with me. We'll have the Oilmen and the Panthers for you. Here's the 2-0. This is swung on and lifted in the air down the left field line, and this is foul, and it's 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, yesterday's game between the Generals and the Panthers was 3 hours and 9 minutes. but it was only 7 innings.
Right.
I'm honestly surprised it wasn't longer.
Yeah,
with
for
the
42
amount of-
runs to score. I mean,
I think it was just like, it wasn't a lot of deep counts. It was just everyone just hammering the ball.
just go up there hacking. You don't no need to take a lot of pitches when both teams are hammering out like 20 hits apiece. 2 balls and a strike. Here's the pitch. Dupuis swings and sends a one-hopper toward short, navigating the tricky bounce and throwing to first in time. Here is the second baseman Marshall, or the shortstop Marshall, and that is out number 1.
And a really important out because the last 2 innings, Julia's got the leadoff runner aboard at the bottom of the lineup. That time they're able to get Dupuis out, who's hit a couple balls well in that at-bat, but ends up grounding out to Marshall. Not an easy play there either.
Stote standing in, 7-6 in favor of the Generals. Here comes the first pitch to him. It's taken on the outside edge for a strike, and the count 0-1. Stote with 1 out and the base is clear. Nekraz would love to put a 0 on the board, and Stote backs away from this one. It's ball 1, 1-1. Good to see a few familiar faces today. The 1-1 taken for a strike, and the count is 1-2. I want to say hello to Syra, who was at the ballpark today. I did get a chance to say hello to her earlier. She threw out a ceremonial first pitch. She is a police officer, and she worked on she actually headed up our game day staff for many, many years. Here's the 1-2. This is taken. Did he go around? Yes, he did. It's strike 3, out on strikes. Here is Stote for the second out of the 9th inning. But Syra was a big part of the Oilmen game day staff for a long time and hadn't seen her in a while. Got to catch up with her in the 5th inning. Also good to see a few former broadcasters in the league, Kevin Redfern and Zach Carr, in the house tonight. Among the many that were on hand to witness the Oilmen and the Generals. And they've seen a good ball game as it's 7-6 here in the 9th. There's the first pitch strike and the count 0-1. The fans have been getting their money's worth at Oil City Stadium all season for 2 reasons. We have had long games and we have had close games all year long. Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul off to the right, now to play. The count is 0-2. And a fan gets charged with an error, according to another fan. Now it's no balls and 2 strikes here. One super fan may or may not have yelled out, "You have to dive for that." 2 outs and the base is clear for Munoz. Sometimes we just report on what we hear. Here's the 2-strike pitch. This is taken inside for a ball, 1-2.
And Munoz trying to find a way to get on because 1 run in this ball game, you have a feeling the Oilmen are going to be able to get someone on the 9th and want some room for error.
Here's a line drive up the middle. That's a base hit. Base hit center field. It's a 2-out hit for Munoz as he singles into center. And the Generals have a base runner, as you say, Adam. I wouldn't feel overly comfortable if I was the Generals going to the bottom of the 9th up by a run. So they're looking to find a way to tack on at the top of this inning.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with Michael Gould on deck, if you can find a way to get to the guy who hit 2 triples tonight.
This is low to Muhan. The count is 1-0. 1 ball, no strikes. 2 outs. Runner takes his lead at first. Here's the 1-0. Swinging a bouncing ball toward second. Tyler's going to field it. Here's throw to first is in time, and the inning ends. No runs, a hit, and 1 left for the Generals in that inning. We have played 8.5. I know you won't go anywhere. Generals 7, Oilmen 6 on the Northwest. Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
You hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes! When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Will Janes is going to stay in to work the bottom of this 9th inning. Let's run it down here for you as we get set for the last of the 9th. Joliet, 7 runs, 7 hits, 4 errors. The Oilmen, 6 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. The Generals are trying to hang on and improve to 19 and 17. The Oilmen are trying to avoid seeing their record slip to 19 and 18. And perhaps more importantly, the Oilmen are trying to avoid dropping to 4th place in the Northern League standings. That is the final playoff position. Both these teams do have a sizable lead over Crestwood, the 5th place team, for that final playoff spot. As we let's tell you about pitchers of record. Matt Dinkle is in position for the win here tonight, and Jake Paymaster is on the hook for the loss. Will Janes is trying to nail down the save if he can finish things off here in this 9th inning. It'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Oilmen in the 9th. Kane Hedrick leads it off against Janes, and every year I've said don't go anywhere, but this year especially, you don't want to go anywhere when it comes time for the bottom of the 9th of a 1-run game at Oil City Stadium. Hedrick takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
And talk about, a gutsy performance from James if he is able to get some of these hitters out. Going right through the heart of the order, no cheapies at all.
Here's the 0-1. Swinging a ground ball to the left side, deep in the hole at short. Tough play. Munoz throw to first is going to be not in time. This is a base hit. Infield single for Hedrick to lead off the 9th inning, and the tying run is on.
Yeah, and you would think Munoz had it in his head, if I throw this ball and make an error, the tying run's in scoring position. But at the same time, I thought he had a chance to get him at first, but was not comfortable with making the off-balance throw.
Tough play, deep in the hole at short. And very rough throw that kind of rolled toward first, but beating it out safely is Hedrick, and that's the way this inning gets underway.
Yeah, and he hesitated a bit as well, so kind of ruins the opportunity to try to get him out at first.
Here's Marshall showing bunt. He pulls back and takes ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes on Marshall. Marshall thinking about sacrificing the tying run into scoring position in this spot. Or he would love to try to find a way to reach in some capacity. He squares around. It's bunted at toward third. This is picked up by the third baseman, Vincent. The throw to first is going to be in time. This goes as a sacrifice bunt. It is a sac bunt laid down nicely by the batter, Marshall, and advancing to second base safely is Hedrick.
That's why that leadoff runner is so important. Not exactly sure about the strategy to bunt. Obviously, you want a guy in scoring position, but Marshall's such a good hitter. I guess it's very hard to tell because James can get the strikeouts, but also he walks a lot of batters, so you lose the chance at a walk.
5-3 on the sacrifice. Will you make a general defense that has been wobbly make a play on a bunt, first of all, to get the out, and they did. Here's a pitch taken high for a ball, and at worst-case scenario, best case scenario, he throws it away and it's second and third with nobody out. Worst case scenario, he makes the play and you get Marshall, who's a good bunter, at first base, but you have a chance with Z-Big, who's hitting .354, and where a base hit ties the game. 1 ball, no strikes. Janes delivers a strike, and the count evens at 1.
And I was surprised that even with Marshall showing bunt the first time, Vincent was still so far back. I think that could have been a bunt hit if he just hit a little softer. Obviously, he was going for the sacrifice, but Vincent came a long way to make that play. And like you mentioned, they made him make a good play on it.
Here's the 1-1. This is low and outside for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And you're also trying to avoid a wild pitch if you're Janes. And Caroi just trying to block anything to avoid the runner going to third.
2 balls, 1 strike. Janes comes set. He comes back to Z-Big, and here's the pitch. Swinging a foul out of play. Now the count evens at 2-2. Well, we've seen our fair share of photo finishes at Oil City Stadium this season, and the Oilmen, who have walked off 4 times on their home field, are hoping to provide another here on a warm summer night at the OC with 3rd place in the Northern League standings on the line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count on Zebig with Hedrick, the runner, at second. This is low and in for a ball. This gets away. Wild pitch, and the tying run goes to third. A key play as Janes uncorks a wild pitch. The catcher, Caraway, could not field it, and the runner goes to third.
And that looked like one that just got away from Janes inside, and Caraway was set up away from the ball and had to reach all the way across. And now after Janes, you got to go for a strikeout. And Generals bring the infield in on a full count pitch.
Here's the set from Janes. And the 3-2 to Zebik. It's low and outside for ball 4. So now the infield will likely back up as they'll try to turn 2 here. But that brings up Zarnecki with runners at first and third and the tying run at third base. Or if Zebig comes around to score, that'll send everybody home happy.
Yeah, Jane's looking for something on the ground, but seems like with the way they've fielded tonight, you'd need a really good bounce to have a smooth double play to have it possible.
Zarnecki standing in. 7-6 Generals, tying run at third with 1 away. And this is taken for a strike. Zarnecki thought it was inside.
And once again, like I've said to a few pitchers tonight, if you're getting the call and the hitter really doesn't like the call, might as well try to throw it back there, as that's a really hard pitch to hit as a right-handed batter in on your hands. Nothing really you can do with it.
Janes comes back, and now he steps off. He backs away. He collects himself for a moment. He wipes his face on his sleeve, and now he toes the rubber once again. Runners taking their leads from first and third. Zebik at first and Hedrick at third. Here's the 0-1 to Zarnecki. This is swung on and popped up. It's shallow. It's on the infield. Munoz, the shortstop, makes the play, and there's an enormous out for the second out of the 9th inning.
Yeah, a big out, and now you just have to worry about the next batter and about none of the runners at all, as he got it in on the hands of Zarnecki again, and it just forced the pop-up.
Josh Conniff stands in. Conniff sees the ball game rest on his shoulders. He's 1 for 4. The tying run is at third base. The potential winning run is at first base. And Conniff is the only thing standing between Will Janes and the Generals' 5th straight victory. 7-6 Joliet, tying run at third. Here's the first pitch. This is taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. Couple of first pitch called strikes, setting the tone here the last 2 at-bats. As Janes gets ahead. No balls and a strike on Conniff. Hedrick, the lead at third, trying to find any way to score. Here's the 0-1. This is swung on and line to right, base hit. Ground ball single through the right side. This game is tied at 7. Hedrick comes in and scores. Here's the relay throw toward third. The slide, he's safe. Safe at third base. Representing the winning run is Zebig as he goes first to third. Conniff shoots the single through the hole on the right side of the diamond. Sliding into third base safely is Zebig. And Joe Silva may have thought that Zebig overslid the base, but he's safe at third, and this ball game is tied at 7 here in the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah, Oilmen come out with a big hit there. From my initial perspective, I thought Zebig went off the bag, but I think Joe Silva would be arguing more if he really was off the bag, because he's right next to third base.
Now Dom Curcio will try to send everybody home happy. Oilmen 7, General 7, as we play the bottom of the 9th inning at Oil City Stadium. The winning run is at third with 2 outs. Here's a pitch low for a ball. A block by Caraway saves the ball game, or at least keeps it going for the moment.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Any ball that gets by him, even by a little bit, you think Zebig's going to have a big secondary, and seeing a lot of the pitches from Janes that could have been wild pitches, got to be ready to score.
1-0 on Curcio. Here's the pitch on the way. Taken high for a ball. It's 2-0. There is a base open. Runners at first and third with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. This game is tied at 7. Janes just trying to get it to extras. The Oilmen trying to prevent that, as Janes is behind Curcio. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's the 2-0. This is taken for ball 3. It's 3-0. See if Curcio has the green light on this 3-0 with the potential winning run at third. He could get a pitch to hit here from Janes, who knows he wants to put one over. Here's the 3-0. He's taking, and it's a strike. And Curcio and some of the Oilman fans disagreed with the call. And Adam Enright is close to being tossed as he's arguing balls and strikes. And Luigi Guerrero, the home plate umpire, has had a lot of arguments on both sides all night long.
Yeah, I thought the pitch before was actually a strike. I thought that one was low.
Here comes the 3-1. This is taken for ball 4. Ball 4 to Curcio. That's the second walk of the inning, and the bases are full now for Kyle Tyler.
Big at bat there by Curcio, and now James can't walk anyone, can't give up a hit. Needs an out here.
Runners take their leads from all 3 bases. Here's the first pitch to Tyler. It's low and in for a ball, and the count 1-0. 7-7 tie, bottom of the 9th inning. As the runners take their leads from all 3 bases. 1 ball and no strikes. The count on Tyler. Here comes the 1-0. This is taken outside for a ball, and now it's 2-0. There is nowhere to put Tyler. 2 balls and no strikes is the count. And the Oilman fans vocally making some noise. 7-7 tie, bottom of inning number 9. 2 outs in the inning. The game resting on the shoulders of Tyler right now. Janes against Tyler. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Here comes Janes back in his 2-0 pitch. Low and outside for a ball. It's 3-0. Tyler will not swing here, and Janes must throw a strike to continue this ball game.
This is a tough thing if you're a pitcher. You want to get over, but you got to have some velocity. You can't just lob it in there even though you know he's not swinging. It throws off your motion.
Here's the 3-0. It's high for ball 4, and the Oilmen win the game. A walk-off walk, and the Oilmen have beaten the Joliet Generals by a score of 8-7. A 4-pitch walk to Kyle Tyler to end it, and the Oilmen walk away victorious with their 5th walk-off win of the season, beating the Joliet Generals tonight to remain in 3rd place as they win this one by a score of 8-7. The walk-off walk for Tyler ends the ball game, scoring the winning run. Z-Big and the Oilmen do it again as they rally in the bottom of the 9th inning and beat the Joliet Generals 8-7. Thanks to everybody involved with our broadcast. James Dorr and Leo Staudaher working hard with us tonight. For Adam Oppenheim, Brandon Vickery saying, I hope you enjoyed, and please stay tuned for Leo's post-game show. It's next. I'll talk to you at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Once again, the final. It's the Oilmen 8 and the Generals 7. Another walk-off win for Northwest Indiana on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Leo Staudaher back at Oil City Stadium for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen post-game show. This comes in victorious fashion after the Oilmen dispatched the Joliet Generals by a score of 8-7. This was another walk-off win, another nail-biter, back and forth. Wouldn't be a Friday night at Oil City Stadium without a little late-night dramatics, as this was going back and forth all night. The Oilmen scored first, 2 in the first, off a few errors. They scored without a real hit, basically. And then the Generals would answer with 2 in the 5th. Oilmen take the lead right back in with 1 in the 5th to make it 3-2. Then 2 in the 7th by the Generals, 3 in the 7th by the Oilmen. Joliet takes the lead right back with 3 in the 8th. And then the Oilmen add 2 in the bottom of the 9th to walk it off. A walk-off walk by Kyle Tyler. Good job by the Oilmen working the zone in the 9th inning. You look at it, they had walks by Z-Big, Curcio, and then Tyler win the game. A big single by Hedrick, a huge RBI knock by Conniff. Z-Big worked his way on base, too, with a walk. Just a lot of activity down there. This was a big night for the bottom of the order. Jake Ostrowski picked up a hit in the designated hitter spot. Kyle Tyler had a pair of walks, drove in a run. Dom Curcio had a big single and a walk, scored once. We saw Josh Conniff with 2 hits, drove in 1 run. Kyle Zarnecki had 3 singles and an RBI. Just great day. Jack Ziebig walked twice. Good pitching by the Oilmen, too. Jake Ostrowski, real good start. Because of the back-and-forth nature of the game, he exited without a decision, but he still pitched really well, pitching for contact to a much-improved Oilman defense today. After giving up half a dozen errors yesterday, only 1 today. That's an improvement, and they out-hit the Generals 10-7. So this was a good bounce-back win for the Oilmen against a good Generals team. Pushes their record to 20-17, gives them sole position of 3rd place, so now they're going to try to make that jump to 2nd in the coming weeks. They're going to have another opportunity to move up in the standings tomorrow night when the Crestwood Panthers come in for superhero night. So the Oilmen hoping for a super effort as they look to go to 21 wins. That'll be a 6-10 start. Pre-game coming up with Brandon and Josh at 6. Until then, that's all I have for you here at Oil City Stadium. Once again, your final score was Oilmen 8, Generals 7. This is Leo Stodder thanking you for following along all night on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.